The Betfred Super League semi-finals are upon us. 12 teams trimmed over 30 rounds to the remaining 4. Tomorrow night we'll see the Wigan Warriors and last year's beaten finalists, the Castleford Tigers, lock horns for 80 minutes, hoping to book a ticket to Old Trafford and face their final opponents, who we will know just before 10 o'clock tonight. The first semi-final sees the season's outstanding side, St Helens, hope for continued success over their near neighbours, Warrington. 3 times they've met this year, 3 times Saints have prospered. How will that recent history affect the Wolves? What have the Wire got in response? Answers will come over the next 2 laden hours. Tension-laden hours, I should say. Well, such is the strength of the St Helens lineup. There is no room for Theo Fage. 7 Dream Team members on show here, all from Saints, and amongst those, Man of Steel nominee James Roby. An unusual role for him tonight. More on that shortly. And barring Alex Walmsley, it's arguably the strongest side Justin Holbrook could field. The Wolves arrive as underdogs, but at full strength. No Dream Team players this year, and that might be seen by the visitors as a snub that can motivate them to achieve a Challenge Cup final, Grand Final appearance double. Steve Price would hope that a good first year as coach does not end tonight. All right, let's bring you the sides from the Totally Wicked Stadium in a second. Just here's a reminder of how they finished after 30 rounds. St Helens, the league leaders, with a record 52 points. It is first v fourth tonight. Tomorrow, it's second v third. Castleford will be hoping to get back to Old Trafford and redeem themselves for last year's disappointing defeat to Leeds. OK, the sides from the Totally Wicked Stadium. St Helens have made 4 changes to the starting lineup that took on the Castleford Tigers in round 7 of the Super 8s. There's recalls from Mark Percival, Johnny Lomax, Luke Thompson and John Wilkin, who are all rested and refreshed by coach Justin Holbrook, who tonight, for the first time this year, will ask captain James Roby to start on the bench. The Warrington Wolves themselves have made 4 changes to the team that ended the regular season with a win over the Wakefield Trinity side. Tom Lynham returns from suspension, 16 tries this season. He will hope to add to that before the season ends. Kevin Brown and Tyrone Roberts return in the halves, and Bodine Thompson is preferred in the pack. And on the bench, it's Ben Murdoch-Masilla, Dec Patton, George King, and they're alongside Joe Philbin, who starts on the bench for the 34th time this year for the Warrington Wolves. Well, here we go. It is semi-final time, and over the next 24 hours or so, we will learn the identities of the grand finalists for the 2018 Betfred Super League. Big day at Old Trafford. It is back-to-back games of the very best that Super League has to offer. Are you ready? Strap yourselves in. Let's get going. We're going to hear shortly from the Warrington Wolves coach, Steve Price. First, let's get the pre-game thoughts of the St Helens man in charge, Justin Holbrook.
You've had the edge over Warrington 3 times this season. Counts for nothing tonight, does it? No,
that's right. You know, obviously it's good to know you've beaten them, but yeah, I mean, that motivates him even more, doesn't it? So look, you know, we've got to play well tonight, and the last few times we've played him is history, and we've got to get it right tonight.
How do you feel about being red hot favourites?
Oh, look, I don't think it matters. You know, I think, you know, we know what's up for grabs. Both teams want to get to a grand final, and you know, we've got to beat Warrington to get there. So I don't think it matters who's favourite and who's not.
Is it, even for a group as experienced as your players, still an exciting prospect?
Oh, definitely. You know, it's the reason we play, and I've said that a few times. You know, winning the league leadership was a fantastic achievement. You know, the most consistent side for 30 rounds. But these are the nights that players want to play. You know, they want to play in a semi-final, and obviously want to win it to get the grand final. So yeah, it's an exciting night, and you know, looking forward to it.
What about the coach's perspective? You nervous, excited?
Yeah, a bit of everything, to be honest. Yeah, you know, I'm really looking forward to the game, but there's always a bit of that nervous energy as well. So, yeah, just looking forward to the boys getting out there. I'm happy with the side up, with how everything's going. So it's just a matter of performing now when it counts.
And what's the key to winning a semi-final, getting the semi-final performance?
Oh, look, the key is obviously just to play the way we've done all year and make sure that, you know, we do that. And that's probably the easiest to say, hard to do. So, but, you know, we've got some, you know, good self-belief in the team for a reason, for how we performed this year. But, you know, we've got to do it tonight.
If you're going to take anything from the 3 previous meetings, the middle one, where it was nip and tuck and only down to the last minute penalty, then that's the one to get your inspiration from, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. You know, we've been, you know, fairly consistent, you know, all season. We set out to be a top 4 Super League club in when we first come together in November, we ticked that. 80 minutes away from, Old Trafford, and, we need the complete performance tonight. We need all 17 members, playing to the best of their ability. If we do that, then we'll give ourselves every chance.
Is that the key? 80 minutes full on from everybody.
Yeah, it is, and it's about executing the game plan and staying at it for long periods, and if we do that, then it's going to be one hell of a cracking game.
Excited? You sound excited.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, and all the players have been waiting for this game for a number of weeks now. It's going to be one cracking game.
We certainly hope so. He's ready, his side is ready, and Phil Clark is ready and joins me here in studio. Phil Clark, I'm going to start by asking you why on earth anybody would give the Warrington Wolves a chance. 3 times they've met this year, all 3 have been won by St Helens. Wolves never scoring more than 14 points. St Helens topped the table on week 1 and never looked back. Topped it every week since. 52 points for the season. It's their game.
Well, everything indicates that on paper and in theory they should win, but this game isn't played. It's played out there on the field. They played the point. The last time they came here, they restricted St Helens to just 2 tries. Now, the Saints have averaged 5 tries a game this season. They've proven defensively they can do well in that regard. Now, they've also, I think, managed to have time to learn and reflect from their experience of playing at Wembley. They folded in the opening 20 minutes at Wembley. They made 4 mistakes in that out of their 11 sets and never really got off on the strong foot. They know they need to do that far better here tonight.
They're underdogs, Phil. How do you harness underdog status?
Well, they're underdogs, but I don't think by a tremendous amount, really. I think that what they probably will also need to know is going back to their match when they played here and they were competitive, they were aggressive. Their best chance here tonight, I don't think they're as skillful as their opponents, but by being more aggressive and more enthusiastic than their opponents, they've got every chance here of unsettling the Saints, which is exactly what happened to St Helens in the Challenge Cup semi-final against Catalan.
OK, I would suggest to you, Phil, if they're going to have a chance here today, they need to drag St Helens into the trenches. If we go back to round 6 of the Super 8s, I'm going to suggest that if the game has 2 or 3 incidents like this, now not obviously referring to the injury to Tyrone Roberts, but the coming together afterwards, it will suit Warrington more than it will suit St Helens, because an open flowing game is going to play into St Helens' hands.
It will be, yeah. I think they're a better passing team, a more skillful side, but I think Warrington in the middle of the field with Hill, Cooper and Clark are potentially the best 3 front rowers. They've got to outperform their opponents. There's obviously an element of aggression and both sides will be aggressive. Whether Warrington can do to the Saints what Catalan did to them in that semi-final, stop any go forward in the centre of the field, is their best chance. Warrington are the most frequent offloaders of the ball. Are they the most effective? That tonight is potentially their key to success, offloading the ball in the middle and finding some quick players to support off the back of it.
Bill referenced in his interview with the coaches there that round 23 fixture between both the sides here. Final whistle went, it was 12, well, final whistle, 80 minutes went on the clock, it was 12 points apiece, and Danny Richardson kicks a monster penalty. Phil, we could expect more of this tonight.
Before this kick, there'd been 5 missed drop goals, 5 drop goals attempts that hadn't gone over. 3 for Warrington, 2 for Saints, but the 2 points there in the very last second as the hooter had sounded put smiles on the faces of Justin Holbrook and these St Helens fans. But at the end of the match, the Warrington players dropped to their knees. They were shattered physically and I think more mentally, but they've managed to rebuild themselves and they come back here tonight with a realistic chance. But on the wings, they've got Lynham and Charnley, 2 players who know how to get across the try line. OK, Roby will lead the side into the dressing rooms to prepare to come out shortly for kick-off here. Roby coming off the bench. Morgan Knowles will start in the front row. Phil, who goes first to Old Trafford? St Helens. I think it's as simple as that. But, when we've seen how close Warrington have come, the fact that there's a pressure of anything. He's on the home team. St Helens here in front of their home supporters. They're expected to win. And Warrington need to start strongly in ahead. They think if they can get to 60 minutes, they've got a chance, the Wolves. I think they need to be ahead at 40.
Well, Warrington happy with the underdog status. They had a visit during the week from Kasper Schmeichel of the Leicester City side, who reminded them in 2016 as underdogs they went all the way. Steve Price will hope that rubs off on his side. Phil will now join the commentary team. It'll be Barry McDermott, Terry O'Connor and Eddie for Game 1 of the Betfred Super League semi-finals of 2018. A place at Old Trafford is available and up for grabs. Man of Steel nominees, Dream Team members on show. Promises to be a fantastic night. First half on the way.
season's work hangs on the next 80 minutes for St Helens and Warrington. So who fancies an Old Trafford grand final? After 30 rounds of Super League, Saints had a record number of wins to the name and a record number of points. Warrington are aiming to become only the 6th team to lose at Wembley and then win at Old Trafford in the same year. High stakes at the totally wicked stadium. Well, it's virtually a clean bill of health for St Helens, and the 4 men who missed last week's win against Castleford here return to action. Mark Percival, Johnny Lomax, Luke Thompson and John Wilkin all come back dreaming of Old Trafford. And for Wilkin, he won't want to end a 16-year association with the Saints on a losing side. A shock, Morgan Knowles starts at hooker. On the bench, coach Justin Holbrook must have faced a sleepless night before deciding that Jack Ashworth gets the nod. And in that surprise move, the Rugby League Writers and Broadcasters Player of the Year 2018 and Man of Steel candidate James Roby also starts off the bench. For Warrington, well, they look just as strong. Tom Lynham returned from his 2-match ban on the wing. Kevin Brown and Tyrone Roberts come back after missing last week's win at Wakefield. Bodine Thompson gets the nod in the second row. He and Roberts hope to go one more week before saying farewell to the club. And that's the same for George King on the Warrington bench, because he'll be at Wakefield next year. Then Murdoch Masilla drops down to the bench to accommodate the inclusion of Thompson in the starting 13. So perfect night and the crowd filling up here. And Warrington St Helens fourth in each of the past 3 seasons. Top of the table in 2018. They've led from start to finish. For Warrington, something that rankles with them, I'm sure, not a single player named in the dream team this week. Only once in 22 years has a team won a grand final without a nominee. That was Leeds, who were 5th in 2011. But Chris Hill is the man to lead them out. And behind him, there's Kevin Brown and Tom Lynham. And Stephen Ratchford, it's his 13th playoff appearance for Warrington. He has lost 3 grand finals, and while they line up in the tunnel, the St Helens team get in a bunch and just have the final words. This is the trophy that is on offer at the Theatre of Dreams, Old Trafford, on Saturday week. St Helens supporters have seen their team claim 52 points, 6 clear of Wigan in second, losing just 4, most wins 26, most points 52 in Super League history. Now they need to get the job done. They're aiming for a grand final, the first grand final in 4 years for them, and hoping to end a semi-final hoodoo coming up. But in Super League they have lost semi-finals in each of the last 3 years. 2015 against Leeds, 2016 against Warrington, 2017 at Castleford. Tonight, though, they have home venue and out they come. And there are fireworks on the pitch, there are flames on the pitch, and Terry O'Connell, I think there'll be plenty of that tonight.
Absolutely, I can't wait for this game. I think look, Saints have been the benchmark all year, and the challenge for Warrington is to stay with them. And Steve Price knows that there's pressure on his side, but he also knows that there's pressure on the Saints, because everybody's expecting them to win. Interesting with Morgan Knowles starting at hooker, James Roby going off the bench, give him a bit of time. But I think that what Saints are expecting are Warrington to really go hard after him up the middle of the field, and the League Leaders Shield belong to that man and his teammates. And like I said before, the standard setters, the team that everyone's been chasing all year, they've just not been able to quite beat them in crucial games. But this Warrington side, with some good matchups, the likes of Hill against Thompson, Clark against Roby, and I think the Warrington players have got a point to prove, Eddie. Everyone's writing them off, except the coach and the fans.
Well, everyone will be writing them off. John Wilkin looks highly relaxed, and hopefully Robert Hicks, the big match referee, will be highly relaxed as well. Warrington are being written off. It doesn't go down well with Chris Hill and company, but Saints have won all 3 matches against them this year. It's going to be a titanic struggle. Who's up for Old Trafford? Who wants it more? Justin Holbrook, at the end of his first full season in charge at St Helens, or will Steve Price wave the magic wand at the end of his first season in charge of the Warrington Wolves? Massive local derby. It doesn't come much bigger than this for these two sides. Saints against Warrington then. These two are 80 minutes away from the Theatre of Dreams. Promises to be a special 80 minutes, and more to come, of course, in 24 hours' time. when it's the Wigan Warriors against Castleford. So Stephen Ratchford's ready, Robert Hicks is ready. The whistle has been blown, and here we go. 80 minutes and counting to the biggest night of the year. Lomax is underneath the kickoff behind his own line. Thompson will drive the ball forward for St Helens, and Warrington. Well, that's a welcoming party for Luke Thompson, there's no doubt about that. Dom Peyroux now.
Well, they just want to make it into a dogfight, don't they? This Warrington side, get off the line, try and hit as hard as they can, and they'll need to be strong on the likes of Matty Lees and Luke Thompson. Very impressive youngsters with great go forward. Here he is again, Luke Thompson, second carry of the game.
In the England squad for the forthcoming Test series against New Zealand is Luke Thompson, and it's with Richardson, and he hands it off to Matty Lees, who got a late call to action this afternoon. Justin Holbrook deliberating because he's got virtually a full-strength squad to pick from, and that's not the best start at the end of their opening set. It bounces off Lomax's chest. Clark was on it in a flash, and here come Warrington on the counter.
Well, one of the most experienced players to make the mistake. Johnny Lomax, it happens to the best of players.
Now Chris Hill will take it forward for the Warrington Wolves. Three of their Peyroux just peeled off. Down he goes, the Warrington skipper. He's 25, 26 metres away from the St Helens line. Tyrone Roberts needs a big game tonight.
That's what you like to see from him. Someone who's willing to have a dig at the line, take on the defence.
Clark gives it to Hill, the 20 metres out. Mike Cooper takes it forward again for the Warrington Wolves. Makes 10 good metres and more. Goes down on tackle number 4. Steve Price watching from low down tonight, right on the touchline, alongside John Clark, his conditioner. That's Ratchford. This is now Bryson Goodwin. Good job that the Tommy Makinson held on to his ankles. Last tackle coming up then for Warrington. The 9 metres away. Here is Brown, goes back that way. Gives it then to Bodine Thompson. He slips one net. Peyroux's in quickly. And Warrington will have the turnover going against them, and Saints come up with the possession.
Well, a sensational start to this game. Look at the start in defence that Warrington had. They've got a destructive attitude when ball carriers are taking the ball up for St Helens. They're being met with 2, 3 and 4 defenders. They have to control that, make sure they get the contact right, but make sure they get that wrestle right to allow them time to retreat. When they've got the ball, they've got to be deliberate. A lot of emotion attached. I agree with all the sentiments before the game. It's going to be aggressive and it's going to be tough.
Oh, problem early here for Tommy Makinson, limping his way to the sideline. That could be a blow for St Helens early here in the opening 3 minutes. I'm sure they'll give him time to run the injury off, whatever it is. Here is Mark Percival now. Mike Cooper makes a grab for him. Percival gets away. He won't get away from Westwood. Good work from the Warrington defenders. King was in there very quickly as well. Makinson being given time. The ball is lost. It's a knock-on. Not the start St Helens wanted. 2 early errors in the opening 3 minutes.
Well, one thing you've got to do in big games is complete your sets. They've had the ball on 2 occasions. They've lost it. They've not got to the kit. The gift in 40, 50 metres to Warrington because of the mistakes. It was manhandled Percival. And when you look at Saints, I think the left edge is lethal with the likes of Grace and Percival. And Justin Holbrook knows that you can't turn the ball over. They've started the game with intent. Warrington, the forwards are running hard. In defence, they're hitting in numbers. They're trying to slow this Saints side down because that is the focal point of the game. That man there, when he gets on, you'll see them speed the game up, but for now, it's just all about keeping it nice and tight in defence.
Well, it's anything but tight at the moment for St Helens because they've had those 2 early errors, and St Helens on the back foot here and under pressure because this is Bodine Thompson struggling to his feet for Warrington. He plays the ball to Ratchford. Here comes Hill on the charge. And Hill going straight at Wilkin. Down he goes. There's Chris Hill. Darrell Clark to Westwood. Westwood then finds Roberts. Roberts pops the ball up. But there's no way through for Jack Hughes. Been a big week already for Jack Hughes. He will skipper the England Knights on their tour to Papua New Guinea at the end of the season. This is Brown. Brown gets the pass away. That looked as though it might have been forward. Bodine Thompson certainly had to reach forward and collect it. Here's Brown again. Stabs the kick in, or attempts to, and Ben Barber picks it up off the ground. Right, let's see. Roby we've seen warping up on the sideline. Makinson limping. Bill Arthur has got news of it all.
Tommy Makinson seems to be okay. Brief bang on the ankle. He looks all right. Physio's checked him out. The mystery ahead of this game was James Roby on the bench, and the all sorts of rumours going around before kick-off, even one that Roby wasn't fit and wouldn't play. Another one that he's carrying a bit of a knock. Well, the word from the Saints camp is that they've decided to go with Morgan Knowles starting in the fire and frenzy of the start of this game, when Warrington are going to be throwing everything up the middle at St Helens, and then bring Roby on once they've taken some of the sting out of the Warrington Wolves. That is the theory, and spare a thought for poor Kyle Amor, who doesn't even make the 17, having featured for so long this season, but has been the man to pay the price or make way today. So Kyle Amor sits it out. James Roby on the bench.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, Kyle Amor very unlucky to miss out on this semi-final, but that is the problem when you've got virtually a fully fit squad from which to choose. Roby, of course, the rumours would have been fueled by the fact that he wasn't named in the England squad this week, but Darrell Clarke, who just got the ball away there to Bodine Thompson, was. Maybe that's where the rumours had stemmed from, the fact that Roby isn't going to be playing for England this autumn. Brown gets the ball away to Roberts now as Warrington look for the first try of the match with Ratchford. Ankles grabbed by Lomax.
Hold.
Finished off by Zebtea, and Roberts again planks the ball right into the arms of Barber, but a good chase.
Well, it's been such a frantic start to the game. That's the first completed set, the first steady set of the game, but it's backed up with that vicious defence that Warrington are going into this game with.
Penalty here, offside. Warrington too quickly out of the blocks.
You've got to have a lot of energy, you've got to have a lot of enthusiasm, and you've got to get off the line as well when you're defending up near your opponent's trying. But what you've also got to do is work with the referee, be disciplined, don't gift those easy meters. Look at that. It's 35 metres that they've gifted just by giving that penalty away, Eddie. They've not had to earn the right to gain those metres, Saints.
And the St Helens supporters find their voice as Saints begin this set of 6, 5 metres inside the Warrington half of the field. It's Wilkin who helps it on to Matty Lees. Playoff debut for young Matty Lees. Anything but for Wilkin. He finds Richardson. Here is Peyroux now. Peyroux making it to the 30-metre line on tackle number 3. Matty Knowles the dummy half. Morgan Knowles the dummy half. He gets the ball away, and it's Lomax brilliantly picked up one-handed by Barber under intense pressure from Toby King. Now it's Percival. Mark Percival on an angle run. He's missed by 2, missed by 3. Peyroux. Well, then out wide, but he couldn't get the ball away, and he loses it in contact. Here now is Bryson Goodwin for Warrington.
Well, good defence from Warrington over on the right-hand side. John Wilkin come up with a very good play when he went nice and direct, that speed at the line, and tipped the ball on. They know that they've got to be absolutely on song when he looks to try and offload that ball. Again, there's a penalty here.
I don't think St Helens have made a worse start to a game, Eddie, all season. You know, in terms of the ball control, they've lost it now on 4 occasions. Conceded a penalty here, and there's every invitation here for Warrington, who may have been lacking in confidence and belief to start this match, but certainly won't here now after 8 minutes.
Bodine Thompson then for Warrington, gets it away to Clarke. Makinson rather, there's nothing wrong with him. This now Thompson again, another good run from him. He's seen a lot of it in the opening exchanges as Bodine Thompson. 6th game since joining from Lee Centurions. Here is Bryson Goodwin. He's wrestled to the ground on tackle number 3. Darrell Clarke at dummy half. Little run from him, trademark style.
They're throwing a lot of traffic at Danny Richardson, aren't they?
Goodwin into centre field to Brown. Now Hill taking on Luke Thompson. Dominic Peyroux. Oh, and he gets the ball away, but the referee... Well, the referee gives Warrington a penalty. And Steve Price says we'll have the 2.
Well, they called release, didn't he, the referee, Robert Hicks. He wants them to just release the player, let him play the ball. And you can see here, just trying to slow Chris Hill down. They were setting up on the left again to come back on the left.
And that's a forced mistake, that, I believe.
I've called release, and then you take him to ground. That's what the penalty's for.
Well, he called release. He told them to leave him alone, Stuart. Then they took him to ground.
Well, that's it. It's an upright tackle. The referee calls held. They have to release the players, and they continue to take him to ground. The ball came loose, which is what the Saints fans have seen, but the offence was before that. He's already called held, and they take him to ground, and that's what the penalty's for, quite rightly.
And it's the determination of Chris Hill to stand upright, not to be dominated or dictated to
you need to take your team
in the tackle. When we go back to not the last match, but the match before in July at this ground, St Helens 8 behind at half-time, and Warrington the far better side in that first half. They were physical back in July, they were fast, they were quick, they were skillful, and it looks like they're going the same way this evening.
Tyrone Roberts, will this be the last time in a Warrington jersey, or will that come at Old Trafford next week? He's going to take the first shot at goal. 12 metres out, almost bang in front. This should be a 2-point Warrington lead. Roberts with 29 goals to his credit this season. Took the goal-kicking responsibility late on, makes no mistake, and Warrington have an early advantage.
Well, they get the penalty on the back of the good work from Chris Hill. Not willing to go down, not willing to give up his feet. The captain leads by example all the time. And he caught in two minds. Do you keep the pressure on, or do you take the 2 points? Knowing that Saints will have some good periods. It's not been a good opening 10 minutes for them, but they will have some good times in this game, I'm sure. Warrington have got to stick with them, though.
It has been a shaky opening 10.5 minutes from St Helens. I suppose in many ways they will be relieved to be only 2 points adrift, but here's another penalty going Warrington's way.
Well, sometimes you've got to credit the way that Warrington have been playing. You can see there that there was a hand in on Mike Cooper from John Wilkin. They're dominant when they're carrying the ball. They're landing on the front. You can see, look, straight away, he's looking to get to his knees, get to his elbows, to jump up and play the ball quickly.
Come on, Mark. Deb.
Well, no doubt it was a penalty. He was knocked out of his grasp. And that's the third successive penalty that the Warrington Wolves have had in this first half. Toby King gets to his feet, plays the ball to Clark. Here comes Ben Westwood, the veteran of this Warrington side, but he loses none of his enthusiasm. Clark in centre field will go down the right-hand side to Roberts. Oh, and that bounces off the chest of Jack Hughes. Zero tackle being called here.
It's a big tackle by Matty Lees on Ben Westwood, and sometimes the ripple effect of those big tackles when players are bounced back is the next ball carrier just has a little sly look out the end, at the corner of his eye, wondering what's coming. Jack Hughes, terrific player that he is, makes a rare mistake.
Well, this is a semi-final. The stakes are so high, but the mistake rate is rising too.
But it's all around the play of the ball. You know that if the man who's got the ball, and Regan Grace, if he jumps up, you're not set. There's 3 markers around. You don't want to leave a player on the floor, a defensive player on the floor. You've got to try and slow him down, but you've got to try and do it cleanly as well.
Luke Thompson takes control of that situation, drives it in on tackle number 1. Knowles again at dummy half. He looks for the runners. Matty Lees will take it forward for Saints. 28 metres away from the Warrington line. It's now with Richardson. Shaped as though he might dab the kick through. Zed Taylor will take it forward. Lost in the playoff semi-final, of course, last year, as the Saints did. Richardson gets it away to Barber, and Barber makes inroads into the Warrington defence before he's pulled down by Thompson and Brown. Is that a penalty? No, referee says it isn't. Knowles to Wilkin, with a space for Lomax. Lomax again, second effort, makes good ground, gets to within a metre or so of the line. Last tackle coming up here for the Saints then. Hands in, it's a penalty, might be level in a moment.
On the last play as well, Eddie. 5th tackle, done all the hard work. He had to just contend with one more play, and Saints going for 2 points. Ben Barber, when he goes out the back, you've got to get it right. Bryson Goodwin shot the line, tried to close him down, looking to shift the ball to the wingers. You can see Stephen Ratchford just too long in that tackle, and Justin Holbert says, yeah, we'll go for the 2, we'll score it all up.
It's easy to get frustrated with those little infringements at the play of the ball. You think Robert Hicks a bit too much whistle, but it's actually both sides struggling, trying to find some dominance. You see John Wilkin just having a little conversation with the referee. What are you looking for? But both of the sides stick with this game. It'll unfold, it'll open up.
Yeah, that's why I went with it, mate. Yeah.
So Danny Richardson His picture framed in the big screen behind him. Weighing up the range here. And the scores are level. Saints 2, Warrington 2.
Well, they're pleased the Saints fans now, knowing that the dominant team has been the Warrington side, but with that man who, over the last 2 years, hasn't he excelled? Andy Richardson made his debut in round 1 in 2017 against Leeds Rhinos.
Stuart, I know there's a lot at stake. We've only been playing 15 minutes. Every player on this field is in the ear of the referee.
Well, it's actually a bit the other way around. Robert Hicks is getting in the ear of some of the players. He's trying to get the game to open. He's concerned that players are keen to slow the opposition down, and he wants to get the message across to them.
I suppose the message will get home when he keeps blowing the whistle for the penalties.
Well, let's be honest, though, that's what coaches say. Look, you've got to make sure that you hit hard, you control them, you take them to ground on your terms. You don't let them play the ball quickly. And when someone's getting a one-on-one tackle, if he is landing on his front, he's obviously going to win that ruck. So you're trying everything in your powers to do it, to slow them down.
3 very good tackles there from the Warrington side there to sort of stop St Helens rolling forward. And that's got to be their aim. Them again up here quickly. If you think about Catalan's success in the semi-final against Saints, disruptive defenders getting up quickly from the referee, up in an onside position and stopping Saints go forward.
This is a good run from Matty Lees, meanwhile. Last tackle here, that was a quick play, the ball. Richardson, they're running it here. This is Peyru, it comes out wide to Makinson. Makinson thumps the ball into the centre of the field, and that's easy for Roberts. Now here's Josh Charnley.
He's a better player than that Dominic Peyru. He had to make sure that that pass that he threw hit his centre, Ryan Morgan, who then in turn had Tommy Makinson outside of him. It's a bit of a sloppy pass, and as I say, he's a better player than that Dominic Peyru.
Some excellent work from Matty Lees. Both sides of the ball. We saw him a moment or two ago make 12, 15 metres for his side. His defensive effort is top class at the minute.
Brown to Ratchford. Ratchford then to Bryson Goodwin. Great tackle low by Makinson. Finished off by Ryan Morgan. On halfway, Warrington with Bodine Thompson taking it now into St Helens territory. Last tackle coming up. Good defensive stint here from Saints. Only 33 metres made. There'll be more with this kick. Goes fairly high and straight up in the air, though, from Kevin Brown. Then Barber is the man who pouches it safely. Barber looking for a big finish to his season with St Helens.
I agree with you. I think he looks determined to go out on a high. On a bit of a wobbly patch, didn't he? Midway through the year, you can't doubt his talent. He's a tremendous player, and he wants to play in these big games. Big games like this bring out the best in Ben Barber.
Yeah, Ben Barber heading off back home to Australia. St Helens this week announcing that Lachlan Coote will be coming up as his ready-made replacement from the North Queensland Cowboys. They're not taking their eye off the Boyle, the Saints back room. That was a lovely little break from Lomax. It was a good job that someone got a hand on him. Here now is Richardson. It was Chris Hill defensively. Richardson, crossfield kick. Lynham's underneath this. He was tackled in the air. Ryan Morgan tackles him in the air. It's a penalty. That's a relieving penalty.
He just had to pull back a bit, didn't he? Let him catch the ball or make an attempt to go for the ball himself. He's got to touch the ground before you can make contact. If you would have just pulled your run up a bit, because that, let's get it right, that kick was outstanding. Look at this, Johnny Lomax, he's looking for somebody on the inside. Everyone else was pushing up on the outside, but probably just switched off on the inside, which is where they were needed.
Time off. Wait.
Referee wants the second ball moving off the field. No one's bothered, so he'll do it himself. Don't miss it, Robert. Warrington then on the back of that penalty. This is Ben Westwood. 37 years young is Benny Westwood. 6 tries in playoffs for Warrington, including one in the 2013 Grand Final against Wigan. And who knows, they might be facing Wigan in the Grand Final 2018. Wigan and Castleford with an argument to settle at the DW Stadium tomorrow night in the second semi-final. It's the first semi-final of the Betfred Super League race to Old Trafford. And Chris Hill gets the ball away neatly out the back, finds Darryl Clark. He's got a couple of Saints defenders on the ground as well as a result of that.
That has to be the key to their success, in my opinion. An offload to a fast player from a forward. You can't see them passing their way through the Saints.
Jack Hughes again for Warrington.
Last move.
Gets to tackle number 5. Last one coming up then for the Wolves as they go down the short side with Roberts. Another kick high. Regan Grace is underneath it. Oh, and ball goes backwards. Now then, that'll be interesting.
Come down.
Head in feed to Warrington. I thought so, because Regan Grace played at it, and the ball played the man for Warrington, not the other way round.
There was a lot of players just stood around in the Saints jersey. No one really wanted to take control. Matt Percival's looking at Regan Grace. Ben Barber is looking at Johnny Lomax. There was 4 players around there. Somebody had to call for that ball, and James Roby ready to get on to the field. Quicken the ruck players. I think it's Dominic Peru that's leaving the field for Saints.
I don't think that was in the script to you. That looks like that might be an injury to Dom Peru. The Roby is on, so the 2 St Helens nominees for the Man of Steel 2018, that will be decided on Monday night at a glittering banquet in Manchester. Ben Barber and James Roby. Can they hold off the challenge of Wigan's John Bateman, who is the other nominee for the Man of Steel in 2018? This is Chris Hill. Now it's Darrell Clark. Gets it away to Brown. Brown will give it then to Roberts. He'll attack the line. Percival and Lomax dealing with the threat.
On the foot, go.
Toby King is behind him at dummy half. Here Clark again. Now Cooper. Mike Cooper takes the ball forward. He turned 30 years of age last week, did Mike Cooper.
John Line. Go.
Brown and Thompson. 4 tackles gone, but Warrington inching towards that St Helens line. They're 5 metres away here. Westwood fires the pass to Brown. Brown looks for the runners. It's Hill. And down goes Chris Hill on the last. Closer to the post, but again 5 metres short of the line. Clark comes down the left-hand side. Brown stabs the kick in, and Ryan Morgan just got a hand to it. Just managed to knock the ball dead.
There's a very different setup when they're trying to attack their opponent's line. Warrington have Kevin Brown over on this side with a short option and a long option. When Saints are near Warrington's line, they're looking for the pass to Ben Barber out the back, looking for those sweeping plays.
Well, Warrington arriving as underdogs in many people's eyes. In the opening 20 minutes, they've been anything but.
They've got the bit between the teeth, haven't they? The way that they're defending, it's a huge advantage. Well, when you've got someone like Kevin Brown, when you are close to Saints' line, who's got a good tactical brain, he knows how to break games down, and Steve Price will probably give them the freedom, but the game plan to go out there and just play what's in front of them. Enjoy yourself, but let's get through it together as a team.
Yeah, discussing what's going on the field with the brains trust, Lee Breers and Johnny Clark. This is Darrell Clark now waiting at dummy half. Gets the ball to Kevin Brown. Brown pops it up once again to Bodine Thompson. Thompson gets away from a couple, and Luke Thompson comes back at him.
There again, he's seeing a lot of the action, isn't he, Bodine Thompson?
This Brown now in centre field, showed it and then gave it to Roberts. Roberts across the line. And it's Jack Hughes again. Big test of this St Helens defence. It's been relentless pressure on the defence from Warrington. Westwood. Oh, the ball though is gobbled up by Knowles, and Warrington looking for a knock on. The referee says play on.
Well, good pressure on the inside then. The man who's carrying the ball, Benny Westwood, he's looking to hit the man out of the back, but he can feel the Saints player just rushing up trying to hit him. Good work from Kevin Brown as well, controlling Tommy Makes, and know how good he is, how many tackle busts he can get in a year. Along with him, Ben Barber, Mark Percival, very dangerous, along with this man.
Here goes Roby. Gets the pass away to Lomax. Good ball too. There's a bit of space on this left-hand side. Percival finds Zeb Taylor. He is scrapped to the ground by Toby King. Last tackle here now for St Helens. Sets of 6 are being got through in rapid style here.
Well,
Richardson hit after the ball was kicked down.
Well, nobody wanted a bar of that high kick. Both players in the backfield for Warrington allowed that ball to bounce. Big tackles again. We've already highlighted, I think Tez has mentioned it a couple of times, they're trying to get at Danny Richardson. That means that Dominic Peru, who's left the field now, has had to work really hard not to allow those runners, particularly Bodine Thompson, to get to him. It's now LMS's turn and Morgan Knowles.
That was a solid run from Joe Philbin. Here's Kevin Brown again. Gets it away to Bryson Goodwin. Morgan doing well with help from James Roby. Brown, high, deep kick. A tester for Ben Barber. He's up to the task. and he then gives it straight away to Regan Grace.
Good work from the back three from Saints. Then difficult for Kevin Brown to find the floor. Then the wingers had dropped back. Then Barber had dropped back, looking to link up on player one.
Plenty of changes made by both coaches.
It's a quick game, isn't it?
It is very quick. Luke Douglas. Roby now, quickly from doing. He looks for Luke Thompson. Thompson breaks the first line of defence. What a run! But I tell you what a tackle from Hughes. This now is Roby. Roby on an angled run, trying to go away from the big man. Ben Murdoch-Masila, Mike Cooper is there as well. Joe Philbin is there too. Last tackle coming up here for Saints. Barber to Richardson. Measured kick to the right-hand side, looking for Tommy Makinson. Makinson palms the ball down. It's free, and it's with Ratchford. Ratchford hacks the ball forward. The bounce is not the kindest. He goes away from Richardson. He goes away from Barber. Comes back, and Barber has another snap at him.
Well, that's just how good Stephen Ratchford is. And Steve Price saying, get up with him. Make sure you support him. You've got to make sure your transition is good from defence to attack.
Oh, Regan Grace. Come to daddy!
Oh, that was a sitter, that, Eddie, on Toby King. Well, Philbin trying to take the team forward, but that run from Luke Thompson was absolutely outstanding.
This is warming up. It was scrappy in the opening 10. Mistakes, nerves, both sides. Things have settled down now. It's a high-quality game all of a sudden. Bryson Goodwin gets it away to Thompson. That's the Bodine variety of Warrington. He goes down on the last tackle. 25 metres away from the St Helens line. Will play the ball. Now it's with Brown. Brown to the corner. Difficult one for Makinson. He manages to pouch it. Oh! And then he's collared and clattered. Was it Goodwin? Was it Hughes? I think it's Bryson Goodwin by the looks.
Well, straight away he apologises. Like Tommy Makinson, you watch him when he gets the ball. Like he accelerates, the timing's always wrong. It's Jack Hughes that goes over the top. Tommy Makinson not making a big deal of it. He was trying to get up. He was struggling. Luke Thompson, like I say, you just need one big run, one big charge to get you going forward. So he's a tremendous player. I think he's been the best brought forward all year in Super League. And then this man, all of a sudden, you're defending your line. You're looking for your key playmakers to read what's in front. If there's a breakdown in a pass, if there's a breakdown in a play, you get the ball. And then have a little look at this. Grace on Toby King. Wow. This is semi-final football, Eddie.
Isn't it just? Isn't it just? And Tommy Makinson, he got one under the chin, definitely. There is Luke Thompson. He'll be in the England squad, facing the Kiwis. He won a grand final as a teenager. There's the swinging arm from Jack Hughes.
Yes, mate, thank you.
Ryan Morgan needing to be patched up as well.
I think this is just a penalty, Eddie. I don't think it's anything more than that.
I think it's a case of mistaken identity, Stuart. He's called for Bryson Goodwin. And he's saying it's not me. Bryson Goodwin said it's not me.
Okay, mate, well, there's contact on the head, it's a penalty. We have to be a little bit more careful around the head area.
Not that I'd want to rob a bank or anything, Eddie, but I wouldn't want to rob a bank with him.
Well, Bryson Goodwin, I've come to you, sir, but it wasn't me.
Say Tommy Makinson, like, when he gets the ball, you know that you've got to go in hard, you've got to make sure that you're very good. He's got good footwork at the line. He accelerates between two defenders, causes you to think about different options. What tackle are you going to go into him with? And all of a sudden, before you can realise what tackle you're going to come up with, he's already through the gap. He's already at the side of you.
Well, I'm surprised they kicked to Makinson as much as they have so far in this game, because you'd suspect that the preferred option if you're a Warrington player would be to kick to Regan Grace and put him under as much pressure. His first big semi-final experience here. High kicks, players coming at him.
But sometimes, Phil, you take the kick to him if your defensive line's up there to take him out of play one. You don't want him in tackle 2 or 3 when they're on the front foot.
Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook leading with the left elbow. And getting a bit back from Joe Philbin on the ground. Thompson again.
Has he got a sidestep? Luke Thompson, he just picks out a defender, just runs straight into them.
If you were a defender facing him, you wish he had a sidestep. It's now Luke Douglas.
Last tackle plays have been big this year for Saints. Passing it, not kicking it. We've had lots of kicks so far. This is the fourth. There'll be one more perhaps after this. But watching the game unfolds, Saints will pass it on the last tackle, not always kick it.
Well, here they go. Now then, will Richardson kick? No, he's holding on, and well,
that isn't a problem for them. Running it and passing it is what they've done successfully. 8 of the 13 tries that St Helens have scored this season have been on the last tackle, and not one of the 8 has had a kick in it. They've run it and run it successfully. Pass when they pull up to the defenders. That's the first time they've tried it, 26 minutes in. They'll do it again, and it will not surprise me if they score from that play.
I don't mind that with Danny Richardson. He's kicked more attacking kicks than any other player in Super League. So people are probably looking at it thinking, right, he's going to kick it. So then all of a sudden, he takes you on. You want to see that in a half-back. You want to be guessing what he's going to do.
Well, St Helens have beaten Warrington 3 times this year, 2 of them actually in Warrington. Here tonight, though, after 27 minutes, there is nothing to choose between these 2 sides. Top and 4th after the 30 weekly rounds. Tomorrow it's 2v3. Next Saturday, who knows what it's going to be. When we're all at the grand final. Wigan cast tomorrow, though, 7:30, Sky Sports Arena, and on Sky Sports Mix as well. The second semi-final in the Betfred Super League 2018. Barber safe as houses underneath the high kicks so far tonight. Oh, getting the treatment from the Warrington defenders.
Well, that's what you want. If you are holding a player up, you want someone to come in and really jar the ribs. Again, Regan Grace, who do you kick to, the back 3 of this Saints side? All of them have got pace, all of them are strong, all of them got good footwork.
Oh, this is a run from Makinson. Makinson goes through Philbin, he's hurt him. Makinson has got support with Richardson. Oh, he couldn't get the pass away. Richardson's going crazy. And Richardson from dummy half has to kick the ball away. There's a bit of argy-bargy meanwhile on the floor. This is Roby down the left-hand side with Lomax. Disjointed defence from Warrington. They've got a couple of players now getting back. Last one coming up here for Saints. Roby will attack the line. Roby will dab the kick through. Is it a knock-on by Warrington? It is.
I think he made a difference, James Roby. What a master stroke by Holbrook to keep him on the bench. Look at the break here. Tommy Makinson brushes off defenders. And you think for all money, all he has to do is find a pass to Richardson, but just in the frame is the big shadow of Tom Lynham.
And that's what I'm talking about with Tommy Makinson. The second or third tackle, he comes through. It's very difficult, and then Justin Holbrook, he knows that it's a chance that's been blown.
Why doesn't he put the ball into 2 hands to give himself a chance of passing the ball? I think that would be the biggest frustration and question you'd ask here. He's in a situation here, keeps the ball tucked in the left hand. It's almost impossible for him in that position there now to pass it to Richardson, even if he wanted to.
It seems an easy 2-on-1, but he probably thought it. Could he get a pass away? It was Tom Lynham. What was going through his mind? But as I say, he's so explosive, that player.
Well, Makinson one of 4 in the England squad for later on. Lomax, Percival, Thompson are the others. And well, come on, fellas, we need a ball. We need a ball to keep this sensational game going.
Come on, guys, let's get back, please. I want us to go.
Anyone got one?
Oh, Danny. Stay, Tyrone. Out.
Crowd packed in tonight, wanting to know who's off to Old Trafford. 2-2, Lomax. 9 metres away from the line. One tackle gone, though. Plenty in the bank here for St Helens. Here is Luke Douglas again. Douglas spun to the ground by Mike Cooper and company. Roby goes the other way. Thompson on the charge. Good hit by Philbin. Looked like he damaged his shoulder or something in the run that he couldn't stop Makinson from making. Here is Barber. This is Ryan Morgan. He gets away from Lynham. He can't get away from Bodine Thompson.
Problem with Danny Richardson in front of the sticks here.
This is Lomax. Now it's McCarthy Scarsbrook. Down he goes. The ball comes free. It's play on. Douglas. He'll take the tackle this time. Last one here then for Saints. Roby fires the pass to Lomax. Lomax back to Luke Thompson again. Stephen Ratchford good in defence. Great defence, Warrington.
Well, he's good in attack and he's good in defence as well, isn't he, Stephen Ratchford? Saved a couple of chances. that Saints have had out of the bat, and the Warrington fans really trying to lift the side, and Danny Richardson still struggling. I think when Phil referenced before about the semi-final in the Challenge Cup, about the joy that Warrington had, or the joy that Catalan had, sorry, when they played against Saints, about how quick the defensive line was. I think it was the pressure they were putting on the playmakers from the ruck. They weren't letting them play the plays, and that really disrupted them.
Well, Warrington won't want a repeat of 2016 when they lost in both major finals in the one season, emulating the lead side of 2005. Knock on here.
Oh, wow. How many times do you see Darrell Clark make a mistake? And it's not something I'm going to answer my own question. He's normally lethal when he pops out at dummy half. He's more than matched by Morgan Knowles, who started at hooker. He's dropped into the back row since Dominic Peru has left the field. A little bit of fatigue now, half an hour on the clock. Players breathing deeply, trying to find that second win just before half-time.
9 minutes to the break. Referee anxious to get this scrum formed and get the semi-final restarted. Richardson, who was down, looked injured, is now back on his feet and fed the scrum. Here is Ryan Morgan. It's a big test of the Warrington defence again coming up here, with Lomax down the left side to Zed Taylor. Murdoch Masilla in quickly. Chris Hill's back out there on the field. Roby, Richardson again. The runner is Luke Douglas. 3 gone. 15 metres away, St Helens. Roby down the short side. Lomax. Pulled back by Murdoch Masilla. He says play the ball. But Murdoch Masilla was lying in the ruck. This is Percival. Percival can't get through Jack Hughes, can't get through Chris Hill. Joe Philbin there as well. And down he goes. Last one here for Saints. Repeat set or something better. That's what they'll be wanting. Lomax to Barber. Barber slides the kick through. Brilliantly policed by Stefan Ratchford.
He's there again, Eddie. He was involved in the tackle the other side of the sticks. That's his job. He knows what his job is. He's got to be good at the back. A good test of Warrington's character, the way that they're defending. Look at him getting across behind. He's organising his troops. His reaction, his adjustment. And he cops a bit of a high shot from Johnny Lomax as he's going down.
More of a slap than a punch, but it was a swinging slap.
It is, and the video referee, as we've said on the last couple of rounds, he's had a look at it. It's not worth a sin bin or a non-report, and so the referee just goes with his decision on the field, and it'll be a play the ball.
Tackle one, Steph.
Crowd quiet for the first time tonight as Ratchford plays the ball to Darrell Clark. Here comes Tom Lynham back in the side after missing the last 2, suspended. Only other absence was in the cup tie of Bradford. 5 tries from Lynham, by the way, in the Super 8s as well, in 5 appearances, so bang in form. These two sides both bang in form. You would expect nothing else in the semi-final stages of a Super League season.
Well, exciting game, and we're still waiting for the first try, aren't we? We don't need tries all over the field to get excited about rugby league.
This is Roberts with a kick down the line. There's no... Oops, that went forward.
It looked like he pulled the ball forward, and even though he's running backwards,
yeah, he got away with that.
It's very difficult, though, for the toucher. As you look at it, pulls it forward, goes off his leg.
He does look slightly unnerved to me, Regan Grace. A couple of times he's had a high ball, shied away from it a little bit. Jack Ashworth certainly won't shy away. He's on the field now. That's his first involvement with the ball. Anxiety all over that back line.
McCarthy Scarsbrook.
Eddie, now I think when you look at this Warrington side, the middle 3, the likes of Chris Hill, Darrell Clark, I know Cooper's off now, but they played big minutes. Saints will try going at them as the game goes on.
Percival off the outside of the right boot, because it was the last, straight into the arms again of Stefan Ratchford. And don't forget the £1 million game, first time ever across the pond in Canada. Toronto Wolfpack against the London Broncos. Will be starting on Sunday at 6:30, Sky Sports Arena, in the main event for the £1 million match, then promotion to Super League for one of those 2 clubs. Toronto, what a fairy tale it is for them. London Broncos. Who wants to come into Super League next year and be involved in matches like this?
Should be an excellent game, shouldn't it? Both sides. London have already beat Toronto this year. I know it was at home, but I'm sure that Danny Ward, the coach for the Broncos, will be going over there full of confidence to try and upset the party over in Toronto.
Well, you talk about confidence. Warrington needs some confidence by finding a way of breaking through the St Helens defence. We've got 6 players here. They can't always hope that at the end a high kick and they're contested and they'll bounce their favour. They need some creative play here from one of the halves.
Hold. Go one.
Darrell Clark just inside Saints territory, finds Brown, he finds Roberts. Roberts then to Ratchford. Good hands, out it comes to Tom Lynham. Oh, he just brushes away from Richardson. Ball over the top then to Bryson Goodwin. He escapes the net of Roby, can't get away from Ashworth. Just managed to hang on to it there, did Bryson Goodwin, under all that pressure. This now Brown. Here is Roberts. Roberts says to Philbin, you have a go. He drives it forward on tackle number 3. On his knees, gets the feet, plays the ball to Clark. This is Brown to Hill. Hill gets the ball away. Smuggles it backwards, finds Brown. Here once again is Thompson. That's Bodine Thompson. He keeps the ball alive and finds Hughes. 4 tackles gone, 10 metres away. Clark waiting at dummy half, fires the pass to Hill. He in turn gives it to Roberts, drops it off then to Ben Murdoch-Masilla. The big fella rolling forward. Held up by the Saints defence. That's how close Warrington are. Oh, Clark. It went backwards. Saints have stopped. Warrington haven't. Drop goal from Ratchford. Misses.
He's missed it straight in front of the sticks. It was a sloppy end to the set, wasn't it?
You could understand the attempt at the drop goal. It's 2-2. The last time we played on this ground, we were 12-2, weren't we, going into the last few minutes? Warrington missed 3 drop goals. 3 drop goals in the final few minutes of that match before eventually losing out to a penalty goal. And it doesn't look, with the defence quality today, as it hits the upright and bounces left, that we're going to see a try-fest.
I don't suppose you should in the semi-final, should you? You shouldn't see a blowout scoreline. I don't think we'll get one tonight. 4 minutes to the break. It's 2-2. And this now is Roby. Goes down the short side to Barber. And Barber's a man with the magical key to open any defence, but he can't get through Warrington this time. Saints, of course, last year involved in that fantastic semi-final against Castleford that ended with the first ever golden point finish, and Castleford got themselves to Old Trafford. They're 80 minutes away from a return trip in 2018. Here's a drop goal from Richardson. He gets it. He kicks it.
Well, he's good, isn't he, tactically? He's a good player. I think that's his 5th drop goal that he's kicked this year, Danny Richardson. He knows that it's going to be very vital. Clark has already talked about it, saying about Warrington going for the 1 point down there, Stephen Ratchford not getting it, Danny Richardson nailing it.
Richardson reading the Ratchford script, perhaps. Thinking, well, that's not a bad idea. 3-2, St Helens.
3 minutes to go, Eddie. Warrington looking to start this game again. Go for the long kick-off. The Warrington players aren't there yet. They're still trying to make their way up the field.
Long bursting stuff, isn't it? 3 minutes to half-time. Saints just ahead, 3-2. Got all the makings of a massive second half. A pulsating night at the Totally Wicked Stadium. Meeting Warrington, St Helens are tonight for the 5th time in playoffs football. And when you see this scoreline, it's easy to remember it's 2 wins apiece at this level for these 2 sides. Teo will play the ball here to Lomax. Lomax, a stuttering run, almost to halfway. Oh, and they get the penalty here to St Helens.
Yeah, George King just getting caught on the wrong side of the ruck. Again, it's the speed of which Johnny Lomax is playing that ball, and George King can't position himself to the side of the tackle or in front. It comes off his foot, and again, it's a bit more pressure here. They've got 2 minutes to ride this period out, Warrington.
Well, when they were here earlier this season, Richardson had a shot at goal from a penalty even further out than that, but it was in the last seconds of the game, so hence the reason why the Saints are just going to try and turn the screw here and get a little bit more of a reward up to half-time. Douglas goes down, we'll play the ball here to Roby. This now is Danny Richardson. He then gives it to Morgan Knowles. Knowles, down he goes, tackle number 3. They get through this set and Warrington will have another dig at them. Richardson, wide to Barber. Further wide it goes to Regan Grace. Here is Mark Percival. Percival fancies his chances. Not now, he doesn't. Roby's waiting again. Douglas once more. Inside the 10, inside the 5 now.
Goal line! Goal line, Stefan!
Last one. Roby tries to slide the kick through. Picked up though by the Warrington defender. And they'll try and work the ball away with Charnley.
Again, good defence from Warrington, knowing that there's just a minute to go. Warrington, was Roby going to just try and dab it through behind the line? Were they going to try and shift it over to the left edge? Steve Price and Justin Hall brought positive things to say to both sets of players at half-time.
Well, a trialist first half so far. 30 seconds for Warrington to try and change that. Roby with a great tackle on George King. Last one. Roberts with a high kick. This will sail out. No, it won't. It's come back. And could be, if it's out now, is this a 40-20 to finish?
It is. It ends up just trickling over the sideline. Everyone stopped.
Well, now they can get on with it because the referee's in position. This is King's ball back inside to Charnley, and Charnley puts it down. What a chance for Warrington. Maybe just a little bit too hurried. There. Just the flick off the fingertips. St Helens survive. Charnley, who has been sensational on his return to rugby league. He got 10 tries in 13 playoff games for Wigan in 5 years. And since he's come back to rugby league, 24 tries in 26 for Warrington now. And that was as close as he would have got tonight so far. Well, 3-2, no tries, but 5 points. Roberts penalty for Warrington. Richardson penalty for Saints, and a drop goal for Richardson. 3-2 at half-time. Lots, though, for Brian and John to talk about during the half-time break.
Plenty of Premier League football coming up for you. Tomorrow, Friday night football sees Brighton take on West Ham. 7 p.m. start on Sky Sports Premier League. And then the double-header on Super Sunday. Southampton will have it all to do to get past Chelsea. 1 p.m. start for that, Sky Sports Premier League. And then it is first v second as the league leaders Man City travel to take on Liverpool. 4:15, Sky Sports Premier League. Both of those yet to taste league defeat. And we have a football score at the totally wicked stadium. The home side, St Helens, leading 3-2 at half-time. 3 times they've met this year. All 3 have gone the way of the Saints. But the Warrington Wolves very much in this Betfred Super League semi-final. The prize, a place at Old Trafford next Saturday night. All right, let's have a look at the match statistics. Possession in favour of St Helens, 53-47. Completion rate better for St Helens. Less tackles missed, less errors made, more meters made, but just a point between them. Well, there was no doubt going into this game, the Warrington Wolves, who finished 4th in the season against the top of the table, St Helens, were underdogs. I'm going to say on the scoreboard, St Helens get that, but as underdogs, you'd almost give that first 40 minutes to the Warrington Wolves.
I have given that first 40 minutes to the Warrington Wolves. I thought they were exceptional. St Helens deserved favourites coming into this semi-final. These are always 50-50 games, but I think given the form in the book and what they've done this season, they earn the right to be favourites. I think the Warrington Wolves have done a fantastic job in defence. I
was suggesting to Phil Clark pre-game that the best chance the Wolves had was to disrupt the St Helens side. Disrupt them by going down the middle like the Catalan Dragons did in the Challenge Cup semi-final and slowing down the ruck. The referees had to take the whistle out on plenty of times, but it's working for the Wolves.
Yeah, I thought it worked for them on that side of the ball. In defence, I think it's even more impressive because you can do what you will to disrupt going forward, but you've also got to face what's coming at you now. Now, St Helens do certain things very, very well, better than most other teams in Super League.
It would be doing the Warrington Wolves a disservice to say they are coping with the St Helens attack. They're absolutely nullifying Super League's best attack. John, show us how you feel they're doing that.
Yeah, a couple of things. Two favourite ways in which they'll want to exploit and open up an area of the field, and that area is this. It's this danger area here where you've got Lomax, Percival, Zeb Taylor and Ben Barber floating around the back, and it's putting pressure on these guys in defence, and I think they've dealt with it extremely well. I'll show you how. So first of all, you've seen this many, many times before this year. Go out to the right on a set-up play. They put Dominic Peyrou back on the inside, and he's got feet as Peyrou. What invariably happens there is he'll find his floor and find a quick play the ball. Where they're going from that is that left channel, Warrington's right edge. So there you go again, gets in between defenders, lands, they do a reasonable job on him. That's the first battle won. It's a relatively slow play, the ball. Second, this is the area, this is the key area, and the combination between these two guys. Lomax playing to Barber. There is an awful lot of pressure on that man, Toby King, and I think he does an exemplary job. It's something they will have identified, and it's something that they will have worked on incredibly hard in training, and it's nullifying this man, and this man on the catch. I'll run it forward to the point at which it becomes important. So at the point on the catch, Ben Barber's got an extremely effective way of evading a tackle. On the catch, he will drift out, and he will try and change his line late.
He's almost beating his man as the ball comes into his hands.
I remember you wrote a column this week saying exactly that. Have a look at what, I always do, have a look at what happens here. There it is, the attempt, and then the tackle. It's an adjustment by Toby King to nullify what I think is a very, very, very potent attacking weapon for St Helens. Second way, they have forwards who land, who find their feet, who start plays in dominant positions. Have a look at that. That's an extremely dominant position, is that, for St Helens. Then rifling their forwards, Matty Lees, Luke Thompson, in that soft area behind the ruck. And by the way, just while I'm at it, there's a half chance there of an offload to a following man. More on that in a second. Where are they going from here? The same place. They're going to the left. They're going to that danger edge. Have a look this time at Tyrone Roberts. I cannot believe this is by accident. And it's a gamble, but it pays off. Have a look at what he does. Roby comes out, is against the static defence. He leaves the line there. Now, it is a calculated gamble, but it has the effect of disrupting James Roby and effectively cutting off a simple, straightforward pass to Johnny Lomax. Almost play aborted and forced by the Warrington Wolves. Excellent stuff.
Okay, he gave us a quick look at a Luke Thompson break within that. Could have passed to Danny Richardson. Would have been a difficult pass, but not beyond Luke Thompson. Another great chance as well. St Helens didn't take. Tight game. You need to take these chances. Yeah,
again, and if there's an issue for Steve Price to address in this second half, it's a couple that we've seen very, very late on in this half, and it's those runs in around that soft area behind the ruck. Makinson goes through. Excuse me. He does exceptionally well. When he's in the clear, though, and he's got players now, he's looking up at the defenders coming across. He really needs to commit Steph Ratchford. He almost needs to be going towards the danger, and that gives the supporting player of Richardson a clear line. He's also got a kick option. The fact that he takes none, time will tell how much damage that potentially does to St Helens.
I need to talk to you briefly about Danny Richardson. He is the #1 halfback in the #1 side in Super League this year. It was 26 minutes before he played the ball. He has been tackled once in 40 minutes of Super League semi-final time. Danny Richardson has to become a run threat for St Helens. I know they haven't had a lot of great attacking ball, but would you agree with me that that is not enough from a halfback?
Yeah, I would, and I also referenced something Phil picked up in commentary, and it's that their last tackle stuff. That is where he's most dangerous and he's most elusive, and expect more of that as fatigue sets in, as it invariably will, given the amount of defensive work Warrington are doing, and doing well.
Okay, Danny Richardson perhaps hasn't run the ball as much as he should have in that first 40 minutes. We will see what lies in store for him in the second 40. The one thing is, without doubt, he is brilliant with the boot. This is Stephen Ratchford's missed drop goal, and this is what separates both of the sides at the moment. Danny Richardson broke Warrington Wolves' hearts when they met in round 23, and it's his kick that separates them at half-time. Justin Holbrook, his side are in front. He is 40 minutes away from a place in the Betfred Super League Grand Final. The Warrington Wolves, well, they've been to a Challenge Cup final at Wembley. They would hope to back that up with an appearance at Old Trafford. They have a deficit to claw back. It's only the smallest of margins. Steve Price, no doubt, coming in as underdogs, would be delighted with his side's first half performance. We've got 40 more minutes of action. Eddie and the boys standing by the other side of this break. It's 3-2 at half-time. All to play for in the Betfred Super League.
Yes, Saturday week. It's the Betfred Super League Grand Final. It's live only on Sky Sports, on Sky Sports Arena and Sky Sports Main Event from 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And who will be there? Saints and Warrington tussling tonight. Wigan and Castleford tomorrow. At half-time here at the Totally Wicked Stadium, it's 3-2 to the Saints. This is the 130th Super League playoff tie that we have seen, and we have just witnessed the first ever tryless first half. You get the feeling, though, there will be tries in the second 40. Big Warrington fan, Stuart Pearce, with the club colours round his neck, hoping that it will be Warrington's years. Well, it's a football scoreline for Stuart Pearce. 3-2, the Saints lead as they get the second half underway. Oh, and Ratchford went without the ball. And Tommy Lynham couldn't get to it. Well, just a little shrug of the shoulders, a raise of the eyebrows from Stefan Ratchford.
Brian Kearney was critical, I agree, of Danny Richardson for not running the ball, but I tell you what, the importance of his kicks cannot be underestimated this season for the Saints. Every one of his restarts have been problematic for their opponents to take in, and even the experience of Ratchford and co couldn't handle that one, though. It's a perfect start here to give them possession and a chance to attack the home supporters.
St Helens have had 22 playoff ties on home soil down the years. They've won 18 of them. Warrington have won only 9 of 21 matches themselves at this level, only 2 away from home. This is Makinson from the goal line dropout. Roby waiting. Here comes Luke Douglas, head bandaged up from damage in the first 40. Roby. McCarthy Scarsbrook picks up pace and tries to go between a couple. Plays the ball quickly to Roby. This is Ashworth. Jack Ashworth. He's played in each of the last 6 matches. Pitched into this white-hot atmosphere of a semi-final. Roby to Lomax, to Barber. Barber to Percival. Percival is spun to the ground by Tony King. Helped out by brother George. This now Richardson again. Slides the kick in, looking for Ashworth. Oh, it's bouncing around all over the shop. It's a try for Luke Douglas. Well, obviously, Robert Hicks is going to take a look through the eyes of James Child at this one once again. He sent it up as a try on the field. There looked nothing wrong with it. It was Warrington who couldn't take the kick in. It was bobbling and bouncing everywhere. Luke Douglas got to it first. What say you, Stuart Cummings?
Well, a look at the onside first. That was Robert Hicks' first query. All the chasers are onside, so we can move on to his second query, which was there a knock-on by St Helens in this? The ball was certainly moving around. It's gone back off Stefan Ratchford at that point. So we'll see again.
Nothing wrong with the grab here by Ashworth.
Well, I think he's going to the man. I don't think he's prevented Stefan Ratchford going for the ball. That ball's taken back. He will have a question to clear that Stefan Ratchford isn't interfered with. Is that a knock on there? Does it miss the hand? Looks like it misses Ashworth's hand on that shot. There's no evidence that there's a knock on there. Seems to miss it completely. Can't see any change in rotation of the ball. That just keeps going straight down. So I think we're okay to play on from there. And then it just needs to be grounded cleanly. And it is. Just to be confirmed.
It looks like Luke Douglas has scored the first try of this semi-final. Will it be red? Will it be green? I think we know it's going to come up green. A green light for go for St Helens. They increase their advantage to 5 points. 7-2 the Saints. Perfect start to the second half.
Well, a poor start from Warrington, though, wasn't it? Stefan Ratchford couldn't deal with the kick-off from Danny Richardson, and also they couldn't deal with this short little kick as well. Look at this. Goes absolutely everywhere. Just pulls out of it the last second. They're under pressure. They're trying to defend the line. Danny Richardson at the line, pulling up the defenders. And Ashworth just doing enough to put the likes of Stefan Ratchford and Kevin Brown off. And Kevin Brown just trying to bat the ball out of play. Couldn't do so, though.
Danny Richardson adds the extras. St Helens 9, Warrington 2.
Well, what a good set of 6. With ball in hand it was from Warrington, straight from that dropout. Big charges from LMS, Jack Ashworth, but ultimately Luke Douglas, right man, right time, and it's the right try for those Saints fans.
So they edge a little closer.
Just a question on that then, is Stephen Ratchford not tackled without the ball? Some Warrington supporters would want to understand the ruling on that.
Well, I suppose technically you could look at it that way, but I think it's a case of him assuming that he's going to have the ball, and it's not really affected him from getting the ball back again, so they've let it go.
9-2, the Saints are ahead. Their 47th playoff game tonight. 28 wins, 18 defeats. They haven't won the playoff football since beating Wigan in the 2014 Grand Final. Long time between drinks. Bill Arthur with the half-time news now.
Eddie, Steve Price, Warrington coach, be so disappointed with that catalogue of errors at the start of the second half, which has led to Saints breaking the deadlock. There he is, and he was so happy, so pleased with the way his side performed in the first 40 minutes when he came out after the break. Really gutsy performance from his side, lots of commitment, lots of determination. He wanted more of the same in the second half, knowing that this is going to go right down to the wire, so to speak. And exactly the same sentiment from Justin Holbrook in the Saints camp. Really impressed with his side, really enjoying what is a fantastically ferocious contest, and knowing it's who blinks first in this one.
Well, Warrington have blinked first in the second half. They've conceded the try in the opening 4 minutes. They do tend to fare better in meetings with St Helens away from home than they have done at home. OK, they've lost on the last 2 visits to the Totally Wicked Stadium, but they've won 6 of the last 9 since the move here in 2012. Last win here, 2016.
You can't panic though, Warrington. Yeah, behind on the scoreboard, still in the game. Obviously, you've got to try and exploit that space, but still played direct. They had a lot of success in the first half with the forwards running strongly, not been taken to ground exactly like Mike Cooper's doing on that occasion.
Here comes Jack Hughes. Oh, now then, it's opened up for Jack Hughes suddenly. Ben Barber, I think Hughes might get this down. I think Hughes might have got this down. Barber thinks he's done enough. It's another decision on the way for James Child, the video referee. And what a response it will be from Warrington if they get this. It's gone up as a try.
I think a try as well, Eddie.
What on earth happened to the St Helens defence in the build-up to this, I don't know. But let's have a look, first of all, Stuart, at the grounding.
Well, it's the grounding they want to see. Does he actually put the ball down in the in-goal area before he gets over the sideline? And we can see there that he is clearly down, and his arm isn't on the line. This is confirmed try.
Eddie, I'll tell you what happened in the build-up to this. Stephen Ratchford was on the inside, which just sat back a Saints defender. Jack Hughes dummied it, saw the space, went for it himself.
And I think it's going to get the green light. Warrington have hit back within seconds of conceding the first try in this second half. We thought up here it might open up in the second half. We thought we might see a try or two. Well, we've seen 2 tries in the first 5 minutes.
Well, they've had to hold the nerve, haven't they, Warrington? They made that mistake. Disastrous start to the second half, but they had to be mentally strong. There's the inside player from Stephen Ratchford. That drew 2 defenders, which meant Jack Hughes had a one-on-one with Lomas. Johnny Lomax, should I say, and what a finish from the back row. Wonderful. And look at the celebration from Steve Price. He lives every second. Justin Holbrook and Steve Price are in it with the players.
Steve Price doing a Jurgen Klopp on the sidelines.
It's quality to see, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's great when they wear their hearts on the sleeves.
They show the passion, they live the players, they live the wins, they live the losses.
Now then, Tyrone Roberts. This to get Warrington back within a point. Difficult conversion attempt this is. And he's pulled it in front of the posts. 9-6, Saints.
I think the Wolves will take a lot of confidence, not just from this try, but from the 10-minute attacking play before half-time. They've started to open up. I think they're attacking play, lots of players moving around the ball, asking more questions of St Helens in defence. Paul Wellens there, sending on a message from the coaching staff. We've got to up the level here now. We're getting a brilliant last 30 minutes for the season for one of these teams here, and they can leave nothing in the tank.
No, it's all or nothing this Thursday night as Chris Hill drives it forward. They will have been deflated conceding the first try of the second half, Warrington, but this will have pumped them up now.
Well, it's a bit of honesty, Eddie, about plays in motion around the man who's carrying the ball. This man, Jack Hughes, will show him what he can do. Come up with some good footwork as well to beat Mark Percival to score the try.
Pressure's on the Saints because only 4 times has the team that finished top of the table failed to make the grand final in 22 previous seasons in the Super League. So the pressure right on Regan Grace and St Helens to get there this year.
Tyrone Roberts just taking his time, making sure that, yeah, there was the defensive line coming up at him, but he wanted to make sure he got that kick right where he wanted to place it.
Roby to Percival.
Penalty here, Eddie. Struck the ball from Percival.
You simply very rarely see this penalty in the NRL. Ball's being stripped on the ground.
Well, you're trying to take him to ground, and Bodine Thompson, the man who has played in the NRL.
Next line, Bodine.
He's the man who's deemed by the referee to give that penalty away for the strip.
So here comes Saints with a set of 6 from inside Warrington territory. That could be a penalty. Bodine Thompson went for a little piggyback over the top of Knowles. Douglas, the try scorer for Saints, 20 metres out. 2 tackles gone. McCarthy, Scarsbrook, Richardson. Zeb Taylor now. Down he goes, tackle number 3, 5 metres away. Roby scanning left and right, comes to the right-hand side in centre field. Here's McCarthy, Scarsbrook again. Good leg drive from him underneath the Warrington posts. Roby fires the pass to Richardson. Richardson then finds Barber. Ben Barber almost through. Good defence from Bryson Goodwin. Knowles again. Oh, over the head of Richardson finds Douglas. Now Lomax will take control. Little dab over the top. Was he taken out? I think he was. I think he was. It's a penalty to Saints under the sticks.
Well, Jack Hughes, the try scorer for Warrington, look, stands his ground, then all of a sudden he walks or steps into him.
And puts the arm out.
Yeah, and he knows how dangerous that kick could have been. Stephen Ratchford was at the back, though. No real need to give that penalty away.
Interesting here, they've elected to go for the 2. I know it's a tight game. It's 9-6, an extra 2 points.
Lead. They put a lot of energy into that first half. Lung busting, lots of defence.
Only started the second half 9 minutes ago, Baz.
A very tight, tense affair.
I think half a try, Eddie. I think you're going to see more of this. Now. And remember last year at the playoff game, they outscored Casford 5 tries to 3, but the goal kick in and the fact that their opponents took more penalty goals meant that eventually the Tigers were the team who went through to the grand final. And what you're going to turn down points as easy as this.
What you'll take, Eddie, as well, is that you'll take a 5-point lead because you'll be confident that the team can't come through to score the tries. They've got to score out wide on the edges like Warrington did through Jack Hughes. Then that kick, that conversion is so important to try and nail from the sideline.
Well, Richardson here. This is his playoff debut as well. Before tonight, 122 goals from 164 attempts. There's another one to the total. It is 11-6. 10 minutes of the second half gone. 5 points the lead. They seem relatively happy with the decision anyway.
He doesn't make any mistakes, does he, Danny Richardson? Luke Thompson now back on the field to lead the charge for Saints. Spent some time on the bench, he'll be refreshed. Looks like they're lining up to kick the ball to him over on Saints' left.
I do. Stay on.
So Stephen Ratchford to restart. His team trailing by 5. Plenty of time though.
Time back on.
Plenty of time still to go on the clock. Johnny Lomax underneath the kick. Here he comes again, Luke Thompson, the human battering ram in the red V.
He's got a good running style. It's very difficult to get a shot on. Luke Thompson, players that you talk to in Super League, says that he's really difficult, along with the likes of Matty Lees. They run hard, they're aggressive, they have the bumpers up.
McCarthy Scarsbrook pokes his nose through, but Westwood saw to it he wasn't going any further. Struggles to his feet, plays the ball to Roby. Had Thompson on his shoulder, Roby. He elected to take the tackle himself.
Both sides making meters and finding it easy to make meters. The middles both cancelling each other out. You see, turning it back inside. Middle men, big men, when they're carrying the ball, they're being met by physical big men as well. And the 6s and 7s on fullbacks could well be the difference. Stephen Ratchford at the fullback, a decision maker. That's terrific defence.
Yes, it is.
What about the kick? What about the kick? I mean, he hasn't made many passes, Danny Richardson, but he's kicked off to start the second half. That's helped to set up the position for his dangerous kick to actually create the last try. Here, look, he puts it exactly where he needs it, just a couple of metres in from touch, and the discipline and control there from Saints with the defence gives them another chance now to attack.
It's the attacking kicks that he puts up makes him so dangerous. Obviously close to the line, his goal kicking is top of the tree as well, but Stephen Ratchford, well, it's been a tough 11 minutes for him, isn't it, in the start of the second half. We were talking about how well he played in the first half. He was key to everything. Yeah, he's been brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant, Stephen Ratchford. So valuable to this Warrington side.
It's his 13th playoff for the Warrington Wolves. He's lost 3 grand finals. And it's his 200th start for Warrington tonight. Lomax gets the ball away, knows! Vital tackle that by Bodine Thompson. Lomax. Here comes Douglas again, looking for a second. Surrounded by Primrose and Blue. Down he goes, on his back. Hill and Westwood, well, they took their time getting off him. Roby again, back he comes to Richardson. Here is Lomax. Lomax with a short pass, Zeb Taylor trying to break the door down. Lomax again going for the line himself, Johnny Lomax. Sheer weight of numbers beats him, and he's pushed back this side of the whitewash. Roby finds Richardson. Now it's McCarthy Scarsbrook. Down he goes on tackle number 5. Last one coming up, the 5 metres away, the Saints. This is how Thompson finds Richardson. Richardson then to Barber. Barber slides a kick through, chasing it himself. And Tommy Lynham grounds the ball in his own in-goal area. It's a goal line dropout.
So clinical, Saints. You look at James Roby's work from dummy half. Every time he passes that ball, it could be 20 metres, could be 30 metres. It's on the button. And Morgan Knowles, well, he thought he was through the line, and Bodine Thompson did well to just grab the feet, and, well, Saints fans know that it seems all to be about them in this second half. Whatever Justin Holbrook said at half-time has certainly worked, hasn't it?
They're aiming for a record 11th grand final, the Saints. Warrington, well, they've been there recently. They've never actually won the big prize. 55 years since they were last crowned as champions. Steve Price looking for the Holy Grail. 63 years since they were crowned as league champions, in 1955 when they last won the title. McCarthy Scarsbrook. Well, the referee said 3. McCarthy Scarsbrook thought that the tackle wasn't completed.
Good carry from McCarthy Scarsbrook as well. Scattered a couple of players.
Here's Richardson. Lomax. Percival. Roberts doing a good job. Richardson again slides the kick towards those posts. That'll be too strong.
Well,
20 metre restart, 7 tackle restart.
They needed that then. Throughout this game, Warrington's defensive line has been working together. On that occasion, there was some going up, there was some sitting back. It was a bit of a fractured defensive line. Chris Hill now leaves the field. And then Murdoch Masilla, and he comes on the field to try and lift the side, give his powerful charges.
Move! Hold. Go on.
Ratchford dummy half. Here's Lynham again. He's a vital player for them, is Chris Hill.
Move! Get square! Hold.
And Murdoch Masilla with big responsibility on his shoulders now. He's running wide here, waiting for the pass that didn't come from Westwood.
Move!
Hill to the bench, pat on the shoulder from Lee Breard. Jack Hughes. There he is, Ben Murdoch-Masilla. And now again, gets the ball away. Lucky to get away with that. It bounced forward, I think. It came out the back door, so that's why the referee says this is tackle 5. Roberts with a high kick cross field. Makinson collects it safely, and then Goodwin collects him.
Good work from me. Tommy Makinson's teammates there. There wasn't a high tackle from Kevin Brown. A grab round the shoulder. Wasn't a swinging arm.
This match isn't won yet, not by any stretch of the imagination.
No, they know that as well, Eddie. Don't need a Saints side. See them all flooding forward. There's a moving dummy half. You're pushing up. Steve Price knows that they need that field position. They need that possession.
Last one here. It's good defensive set, this from Warrington. They've restricted St Helens to within 10 metres of the halfway line, and the kick comes in from Richardson. Has Lynham backpedaling, though. Plenty of space ahead of Lynham to pick up pace. Here he comes.
They've done a decent job on the Warrington forwards. Mike Cooper's just put his hand up to the bench. He either needs to come off, there's a problem with him, or he's just tired. Took an awful lot of energy out the big fellas.
This will do Warrington nicely.
Joe Philbin coming onto the field. How many times, how many occasions have we watched Warrington Wolves play Joe Philbin come onto the field, and he lifts his team. It seems to be about big charges, big carries, and the moments where Richardson, Roberts, Brown, Lomax, Barber, Ratchford should step up. When those chances are there, it's who takes them.
So great opportunity here for Warrington as Philbin carts it up on the first tackle. Just on the field for Mike Cooper. McCarthy Scarsbrook has left the action now. He too has been replaced. This is Brown. Oh, this is ambitious. Brown looking for Roberts. Oh, the ball comes free. Lomax picks it up. Can't get away, though, from that in-goal area. Goal line dropout coming up. Invention there.
You like it on the second play. Look at this. Here. Kevin Brown at the line. Tyrone Roberts going for it.
And that's what I was talking about. 6, 7 and 1. All looking to create opportunities and taking them as well. Touches that back line, Johnny Lomax.
I think that's the key, isn't it? That Warrington are struggling. He thinks there's a chance to see Price, but he knows, well, goal line drop it, they'll get another opportunity. And Johnny Lomax seems to have suffered a serious injury here to his left leg. But tries from kicks have been big for Warrington this year, showing how hard it is to break through St Helens' defence. Creative kick, an unusual one. Somewhere we'll see here with a tackle with Jack Hughes, a twist perhaps of the left knee. Shame for Lomax if he has to come off at this stage.
Oh, and immediately, look.
Straight away, yeah.
He's played in 27 of the 30 games from this year. And he's been very important. His support play when St Helens have made breaks is probably one of the reasons why they've topped the table this year. Oh, is it? Is it a finger? Or broken the arm?
Hand, wrist, forearm.
Something on the hand, obviously, but
yeah,
we all thought it was the knee.
He's got a cut on his hand. Simon Perrott, the doctor, just taking his time, just making sure that he's okay. Well,
I think he was stood on by a boot or something. What on earth was that?
He's a tough old player, Johnny Lomax. He's had some serious injuries when he's a youngster. He's had to...
Is it a dislocated finger? Is he having it put back?
Hard to see on that one. If it is a dislocated finger, I saw the blood like Tez saw it. It could be a compound dislocation where the bone comes out of the skin. You can see he's in severe distress.
Thanks a lot, Barry.
Straight away when Ben Barber and everyone goes around and then they start waving at the sideline saying you're going to have to come off. He's in good hands there with the doctor.
Oh, he's in a lot of stress, isn't he? Yeah. A lot of distress.
Well, Simon Perrott, who's the Saints star, he's just making sure, first of all, the player's okay. Yeah, I know that the fans want the game to continue, but the main priority is making sure that Johnny Lomax is okay.
Look, well, he's indicating he's finished, he's done, he's bouncing, isn't he?
I don't know whether that's a pain, that's a reaction to some pain.
Well, I tell you what,
and that's painkillers. That's painkillers.
If he carries on,
he's going to carry on. He doesn't want to leave the field, Eddie. His adrenaline, everything that's going through his body, all the hard work over the season to get within what, Another 23 minutes, sorry, to the grand final. You don't want to lose one of your best players.
Has his finger gone in Tyrone Roberts' mouth? I think that's how it's going to be the only reason you explain how his fingers got injured in that collision.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's staying on the field, and it's a lesson to sportsmen in other codes. It really is. They're tough in the Super League, there's no question of that. They are tough as teak.
Really tough or stupid?
Well,
incredible, isn't it?
In certain company, I would agree with the latter, but I'll say that he's incredibly tough. Clark down the left-hand side to Brown. Wide they go to Goodwin. Here is Lynham! Lynham scores! Lynham scores in the corner for Warrington. Things to check for Robert Hicks. Try on the field, though. They're checking on the grounding, they're checking on the slide that he doesn't touch the whitewash. They think he scored, Stuart.
Well, they'll do it on the field. Robert Hicks just wants to check that there's no double movement here. He's concerned he'll have seen a double movement from Lynham. I think the question's going to be so whether he was tackled or not, which he wasn't. So that's fine. Barber was in contact with him, but he wasn't held, so he could go and carry on to the line.
Goes low very early there, Tom Lynham. He's done that numerous times in his career. He catches a knee, actually, from Ben Barber, purely accidental, but bravery, both sides of the ball. For the defender, he needs to get his body in front. For the attacker, he knows he's going to collect one as he gets that ball down.
It's good technique, this, isn't it? Going low very early, knowing that Barber's coming across. Warrington wingers, both of the wingers score lots of tries.
Well, he's back from a two-match ban, and he has just put Warrington back within a point of St Helens in this Betfred Super League semi-final. This is going to go green. Lynham gets the try. Warrington back within a point. Kick to come, which would give them the lead.
They're not playing in the shell, Warrington. It all started with Kevin Brown. And his chip over the top for Tyrone Roberts, and the competitive spirit from the scrum half to keep going, even though he's shoulder charged out of the way by Ben Barber. He still manages to make that tackle on Johnny Lomax. Beautiful hands, good finish in the corner, and Warrington showing a lot of character, a lot of spirit.
Well, he was criticised in the Challenge Cup finals for diving too early, but he's absolutely got that one spot on the timing.
Now then, another difficult conversion, this time from the other side of the field. The right-footed kicker, it's a little easier. It's a little easier. It's much easier. Warrington have the lead. 12-11, 58, 59 minutes gone. What a massive 21 minutes we've got now.
Well, it's a good play, isn't it? Good ball from Bryson Goodwin. Good dive. And what about that kick? That was a pressure kick.
Tell me if we're ready. On the line, please, Dan.
He's loving every minute of this. Well, he's living every minute.
They've got in front, and there's just over 20 minutes to go now. Can they defend that lead?
Let's get some injury news. There's been plenty of it. Johnny Lomax, Bill, what's the story?
It was a dislocated finger in the end, Eddie. After all that treatment, the finger placed back, although he's obviously strapped up, and it's obviously still painful for Johnny Lomax, but he's determined to continue.
Gritty from Lomax, and St Helens will have to grit their teeth here now, because Warrington have got the bit between theirs.
No, one quick charge and one run from that Ben Murdoch-Marcella, then all of a sudden that man's off, isn't he, Clark?
Hughes with the latest drive, good leg drive from him as well, but it's the last tackle coming up. And Roberts is the man with the ball. Looking here for King, finding King. Couldn't get it away, though, to Josh Charnley.
We're still looking to compete for the ball. Toby King then, as soon as he catches it, trying to get it to Charnley. Unfortunately, can't get it to him.
Well, that part of Regan Grace's game is excellent. When he's coming away, he's fighting for a quick play of the ball. He's as good as anybody in the league, but he needs to be more commanding, more dominant, more confident when those high kicks and those pressure kicks are coming his way.
Into the last quarter of the match. Nothing between the two sides except 1 point for Warrington. Luke Thompson Roby gets it away to Wilkin. He then finds Lomax. This is Barber. Percival. So Warrington know the danger that Mark Percival poses. Plays the ball to Barber. Zebtea. Short ball. Wilkin. Great pass off the deck to Ben Barber. He's got Lomax with him. Lomax has dropped it.
No, he was there. He was trying everything. Probably the thing is still not making excuses, but let's be honest, he's a brave lad. Look, the good offload, pushing up in support, looking to give the ball to Johnny Lomax and just couldn't take it in. Whether that's an after effect from the injury.
What about the defensive recovery though from Warrington? What we've seen and complimented some brilliant tries from St Helens this season. But Warrington's effort there when the line was broken to recover and get back to stop Lomax scoring, it's kept them ahead.
It's the Warrington supporters who are singing right now. They believe that after all the pain and all the suffering, this is their year. This is Masilla. Steps out of one challenge from Lomax. He's struggling with the hand, is Johnny Lomax.
You try and give him early ball as much as you can. Let him pick his target where he's going to run.
Clark into centre field to Westwood. Time running out, you think, for Ben Westwood to get hold of a grand final winner's ring at 37. Here's Masilla. There's the ball back.
There was a call for being tackled before that pass was made, before that catch was made. It was a good set-up play, expecting the kick, St Helens and Zebtea, and I think it's Stefan Ratchford. There's Ben Masilla. He catches the ball, feeds it inside, and tries to find Stefan Ratchford.
He preempted that play. The ball was outside, not inside. It was a 2-on-1 with the Saints winger, Johnny Lomax. Look, you can see the hit there from Percival.
Well, he thinks he was tackled without the ball.
I don't think there's too much wrong with Masilla. His eyes are looking at where the ball is going. He's caught unaware. It's a full-blooded challenge from Percival. The arms up in the air from Steve Price is perhaps what I thought I saw, which is a tackle without the ball on Stefan Ratchford.
I agree. If the referee and touch judges don't think it's a penalty on the game live, keep it live.
I think we've probably
Robert Hicks has had a word with them.
Yeah, I think we've probably got some contact with the head on Masilla. But again, the players continued, so the referee isn't going to take any action against that, and it's probably not worth a send-off. So we should continue with the play the ball, St Helens ball.
There we go. There's nothing in that for me, but anyway, on with the game.
Play the ball here, Zero. Play it. Yes. Yes.
What St Helens need to find is a way of going forward though. Now at the moment they can't make the ground that they've made so often this season that's set up so many of their attacking players in the tries. Warrington's defence has been brutal in the middle.
I think Johnny Lomax has taken full advantage of that stoppage in play to have yet more treatment, more strapping on that injured finger. Wilkin gets the ball away to Morgan Knowles.
With John Wilkin on the field, he's got that passing game. He'll move it away from the ruck as he's done then. He's found Matty Lees away from the teeth and the middle, the markers. Hopefully more meters, generate more momentum.
Oh, he might lose this ball here. How on earth did he hang on to that? Well, it was a strip. I thought he held on to it.
I agree, Eddie. When he goes into that tackle, Luke Thompson, whether he's been just hit well and hit under the ball and he can't bring the ball back in, is he trying to offload it? Darryl Clark's all around him.
Saints won't be complaining. They're coming forward again with Zebtea. Warrington with the narrowest of leads. Here comes Thompson. Remember, St Helens last year involved in the Golden Point thriller in the semi-final of Castleford, losing to a Luke Gale penalty followed by a Luke Gale drop goal. Drama all the way as we get down to within 80 minutes of Old Trafford, and here is Matty Lees. Oh, and they're so close again to the Warrington line, and Roby is scheming one way and then the other. Gives it to Lomax. Lomax then to Barber. Barber trying to stab the ball through. Very well swept up by Toby King.
A couple of big players in defence from Warrington then. The first one was Kevin Brown, then it was Jack Hughes. Had to be good. If you jump the line, you've got to make sure you get the tackle. Good pick up as well from Toby King.
Toby King preferred tonight to Ryan Atkins, who's a big match player for Warrington.
And he's got a big job, hasn't he, up against Mark Percival?
And he's let nobody down so far.
Been really good.
Here comes Goodwin again for the Wolves.
We've had 33 of the 34 players on the field so far, Eddie. About 15 minutes to go. Warrington maybe have an ace up the sleeve as well. Dekpan sat on the bench, waiting patiently here for perhaps his chance in the last 10.
Well, he might just have the key to open up the Saints. Roberts here with a flat kick right down the centre of the field. Barber's content to let that run and let it run further, and it goes dead in goal. 20-metre restart, 7 tackles on the way for Saints.
I know it rolls over the back line, but his kicking game has been a lot better. 6 and 7, getting involved, taking control, taking charge, and that's where Regan Grace is at his best, avoiding defenders, and a couple of good carries and some good work from the back line.
Roby gets it away to Wilkin again. John Wilkin, is this his last match in St Helens colours after 16 years at this club? Roby gets away from dummy half again, doing the job that he does week in, week out, year in, year out. Barber. Here is Thompson. Good defence from Warrington so far. That's 4 gone. Here comes Wilkin again. Back it comes to Lomax. He finds Barber. Barber to Percival. King again. Toby King sticking to him like glue. Zeb Taylor, the dummy half, into centre field to Richardson. Richardson floats the kick out to the right-hand side. Knocked back. Oh, knocked back. Penalty. Was it knocked forward?
No, it's a late tackle on the kicker.
On Danny Richardson, I think it's Joe Philbin.
Joe Philbin late. I know.
I don't know how many seconds it is, but Joe Philbin gets there. He knows what's coming. Danny Richardson, he braces himself. You can hear the footsteps, smell the breath of Joe Philbin, who decides, I'm going to take him to the floor.
Big decision here now. Will it kick a goal for this?
Smells the breath. I didn't say it was bad breath. I just said he could smell it.
You've got to get that right, though, haven't you, Joe Philbin?
Big kick here now. Does he kick at goal? He's elected to. Do you know what, Eddie? He's twice as good on the left touchline than he is to the right this season. I don't know whether he knows that.
It's too late there, mate.
Kevin Brown is not convinced this should have been a penalty.
But there's one thing you'd have to say about
the most important person who is convinced the ref.
Well, he is, but he's tackled him after he's kicked the ball. He had plenty of time to pull out of that tackle. So really, even though the contact was fairly soft, you know, he could have pulled out.
Yeah, when he gets there, he can't just think, right, well, because I've got there and I've made an effort to get there, I'm going to take him to ground. You've got to pull back. You've got to pull back.
The ball was well gone. Now then, this kick to ease St Helens ahead by a point, and as you see from the clock in the left-hand corner of your screen, time is ticking away.
He struggled, Eddie, though. He struggled from the right touchline. He doesn't struggle from pressure, though. We saw that the last time they played Warrington here. Perhaps he rises when the pressure's on him. One of those sports people who needs to be under pressure to find the very best.
Well, he's waded up. It's a dreadful angle. It's on its way. He's missed it, but he's got the ball dead. They'll get the ball back, will St Helens.
You could tell from the reaction of the Saints fans behind the sticks, nobody went up in the air. He's been the best goal kicker in Super League this year, hasn't he?
He's the only player to kick goals for St Helens this season. Every other team has used a number of players, a multitude of players. He's taken every single goal kick, and that's unique about the Saints and the Super League this season.
And he's the first one, the only one, to top 100 successful goals in the season so far. Well, you'll be asked to make your vote shortly on the hourly gap for the man of the match here tonight.
Move, Joe! Hold!
A rugby league legend watching with us, and, well, who on earth he's going to pick.
Good luck with that.
There are a lot of candidates tonight. I don't think we'll argue with any of them this evening. He might emerge in the next 12 minutes or so.
I was just going to say, Eddie, this game's still to be won by one of these brilliant players.
Roby with the run, halted by Hughes. Will Richardson elect to go for another drop goal if they get within Cooey? Because 1 point advantage. And here they come again. Good run once more from Matty Lees. Impressive. Last tackle. Richardson's back in the pocket. No, they're coming this way. Now it's from Lomax to Richardson. Here's the drop goal attempt. They've kicked it. The crowd will tell you that. Robert Hicks will confirm it. The scores are level. The scores are level. And we've got less than 12 to go.
What fantastic reactions from St Helens. The ball goes to the wrong side. Lomax fires it back inside. And it's perfect hands from Danny Richardson. Catches the ball above his head. Just drifts it down towards his foot. And that's a wonderful executed drop goal.
Danny Richardson's 6th drop goal of the season. 5 in the Super League. 1 in the Challenge Cup.
Is that what you picked me up on before, Eddie? Do you know?
Looking at Steve Price there aren't many jobs where a whole year's effort comes down to the last 10 minutes of a match in a situation like this. You measure and everybody remembers on everything that happens in a full year. You work hard for almost 360 days. It's a situation they've almost been at this a year here now. The kick's gone too far. Big mistake from Rashford.
Penalty on halfway. It was 12-all at this stage. Last time we were here between these two. And Richardson kicked a penalty goal off the halfway line in the last seconds of the match. Will he have a shot at goal here now from 50 metres out, right on the centre spot? He's calling for the kicking tee, I think.
You're right, Eddie. You're right. He's confident. I don't think the sideline are too sure about what he wants. But what a mistake. Stefan Ratchford.
Well, he has been
the
pick
had a
of their
stellar
players
season.
all season, he has.
He's had a stellar season, but he's had a couple of involvements tonight that if he played 100 games, he wouldn't make 2 or 3 of them. They're going to tap, they're going to have a go.
Well, they're going to have a go. Well, if that's the case, why wouldn't you dump the ball into touch 20 metres further forward, please? It might come off. Maybe they tried to catch the defence napping. Maybe they're looking for another one-pointer.
Well, considering there's just over 10 minutes to go, the hits haven't softened, have they?
They have not.
Where's Ben Barber?
Relatively fresh legs from Peru. Now then, they are within striking distance of another one-pointer here, but no, they're running it with Wilkin.
Ben Barber was screaming for that ball.
Wilkin goes down 3 metres short of the line. Richardson's back there again. Another one-pointer off the bar and over. Oh! Well, when things go for you, they go for you. 13-12. It's a drop goal, I thought.
How composed is he? He knows that he wants the ball. He's going to be under pressure. Jack Hughes trying everything to get at him. So is Bodine Thompson. But he's still got to focus on where the sticks are and get the ball between him. And Justin Holbrook knows, even though he's a young lad, he knows what he's got going for him. He's played every game this year as the 7, been one of the dominant players in Super League.
Well, how good are his skills? The last one, the ball was above his head. That one, the ball was down below his knees, and he still has enough to collect it and execute it perfectly.
Not quite as much oomph behind that from Stefan Ratchford.
Well, you want to make sure that you get that one right, don't you? Again, another strong challenge from the back line from Luke Thompson.
13-12, 9.5 minutes to go. There are your nominations for man of the match. Hill and Cooper of Warrington Roby and Thompson of the Saints. And here, they're pointing accusing fingers at Ben Westwood.
Well, that's a young bull and an old bull. Matty Lees has not took a backward step all evening. And when he's had a break, Jack Ashworth has come on. And Ben Westwood, who's been looking into the eyes of Matty Lees all evening, because every time he's carried, there's a little nudge there. Disappointed with himself to give the penalty away. He's trying to get round to marker. And they're thrashing around from Matty Lees. He doesn't like it.
Well, he's the oldest head out there, and Westwood. There's so many disappointments in grand finals. And he knows he's got 9 minutes to rescue this match and get back there in 2018.
He knows the time's running out to win one, Eddie, and he's been a Trojan, hasn't he? He's played long minutes. He's always puts his body on the line, whether he's carrying the ball, whether he's defending. Well, he's involved in that tackle as well.
Well, he played in the 2010 playoff defeat here at St Helens. In fact, it was at Knowsley Road.
I think when you look at the players who are up for man of the match, that just goes to show how the game has been. Was it 3 props and a hooker that's up for the challenge? Yeah, it's been well and truly physical. A lot of questions being asked in that middle part of the field.
Here goes Roby again with one of those trademark runs. He finds Lomax. Lomax can't get away from his opposite number, Ratchford. Whose nerve is going to hold here tonight? Warrington have got to get up the other end to have a chance. Saints down here once more. Tackle number 5. No interest in a drop goal this time. It's with Lomax running it. Barber on the inside. Ben Barber bounces off Westbrook. Dabs the ball towards the try line. Picked up by Bryson Goodwin. Well, Saints concede a penalty.
Yeah, for the flop, Eddie. It gets a favourable bounce, doesn't it? When Barber kicks that ball through, it just swerves across and it goes to where Goodwin is. If it's more towards the try line, they could have had another set of 6 because of Saints pushing up really strongly. If Goodwin gets that ball just half a metre from his line, I'm sure he would have been pushed into the in goal.
Well, no member of the Warrington squad were named in the dream team this week. 7 were named from St Helens. Declan Patton has been one of the spectators here tonight. Is he going to come on and play a pivotal role in the last 7 minutes?
Eddie, and that'll be a motivation for the players, that none of the players got a look in. It was all about Saints and the year that they've had.
I bet Patton is itching. He's itching.
Do you go for a drop goal? That's the question, isn't it?
Here's Toby King. He won't go for a drop goal out here. They want to try and work it back.
Back to the middle. Warrington going back to the middle. You can almost read their minds. They're having a shot. They're looking for the try.
They're looking for the try. Why wouldn't they? Goes wide to Lynham. Lynham through 1. Lynham through 2. Lynham gets the try. Lynham gets his second try. It's not given yet. It's not given yet. It's another decision for James Child, I think, on the way.
What do you want me to check for?
Lynham's convinced he scored. So is the touch judge, so is the referee. And Warrington edge ahead again. Tom Lynham, back from 2 out suspended, has come back and scored 2 tries. And it could be the night for Warrington. It could be the night that Warrington get back to Old Trafford.
Well, Eddie, you've got to back yourself. Do they set up for the 1 point, or do they have a crack at going at Saints? Well, they had a crack, and what about that for the ball? First of all, Stephen Ratchford, then Bryson Goodwin. Well, then what about that? The footwork from Lynham to get across to near the line, get over the line, gets rid of Danny Richardson. He can't control him. Ben Barber can't control him. Peru can't stop him. And Matty Lees comes in to try and help. And that's what it means to Steve Price. Wow, we're in for a big last final 5 minutes, Eddie.
Well, he comes back tonight from a 2-match ban, Tom Lynham. It was a 3-match ban originally. They appealed and got it reduced to 2. They lost 1 match of the suspension on appeal. How much did they pay the lawyer?
What a finish from the winger, Tom Lynham. But it's the hard line, the uncompromising line of Bodine Thompson that puts Danny Richardson in all kinds of trouble. An outstanding finish from Tom Lynham. Tom Lynham, Charnley, Ratchford, 60 tries between them for Warrington.
Well, Tyrone Roberts knows this is a big kick. That's why he's taking all the time in the world. But we have known over the years how St Helens have come back in the last couple of minutes to break Warrington's hearts. Roberts adds the 2. The gap is 5 points. St Helens need a converted try.
Well, penalty goals and drop goals are exciting, but for me, it's tries that should win games of rugby league, and it's a try that will probably win this one. Although you can never write off the Saints. Tom Lynham's finish is a class one. Both him and Charnley have found ways over the line this year that have got those Warrington fans believing. Now, short restart.
And Saints get it back.
Had to go short, didn't he? The judge went short and he come up with it.
Zebtea then will play the ball to Roby. This is Wilkin. McCarthy Scarsbrook. We've got another semi-final tomorrow. We've got a grand final on Saturday week. This is setting the standards for the next 2 matches. The last 2 matches of Betfred Super League 2018. What a thriller. And we've got the £1 million game in the middle of it all. Wilkin. Back it comes to Lomax. Lomax to Barber. Roberts gets down low. And Toby King up top. This now is Richardson. Here is Roby. Roby gets it away to Lomax. Lomax gives it wide again to Dominic Peyrou. And Peyrou goes for the line, but Chris Hill was there. Nerves are twitchy in the coaches' boxes. Richardson with a kick looking for Percival. Flicks off Percival's fingers, off Saints. 20-metre restart for Warrington.
Well,
Times against the Saints.
Well, they'll just slow it down here, Warrington. They don't have to win the game again. They're in front on the scoreboard. Josh Charnley just strolling back to tap it on the 20.
And Charnley tapped the ball on the 20, pointed then at the St Helens defenders coming towards him, convinced they were offside.
Well, just trying to kid the referee, Robert Hicks.
Well, there'll be no quick play the balls now for Warrington. There'll be no histrionics. There'll be nothing silly, nothing fancy.
As long as Saints do the job defensively, they're going to get another goal with the ball, and it's about what they do when they have the ball. They can't afford to think too far ahead. We've seen the quality of Warrington throughout this game with the ball.
Murdoch-Masilla just over the halfway line on tackle number 3. Benny Westwood.
He's been good.
Characteristic run from him.
Did they look for a drop goal here, Eddie?
Well, I was wondering that, Phil, because if they get a converted try against them, it ends up as a draw. Hill, last one coming up then.
Kick the ball off the field, surely.
Well, yes, kick it off the field. Oh no, he's come down this right-hand side. He's found King. That's the turnover, but look where Saints have to come now.
Here we go.
95 metres away.
Trap yourselves in now, watch this set of 6.
It's all good and well putting an attacking kicking, but waste the minute by kicking it off the field. Your game management, that's what comes into play when you've got just over 2 minutes to go.
2 minutes, Warrington are 2 minutes away from a grand final. Saints 2 minutes from the end of their season. In possession, they've only got 4 tackles left. They have to do something special. St Helens. Peyrou smuggles the ball back to Lomax. Lomax comes across the face of play. Tries to go inside the big men. Nearly does. Clawed to the ground by Murdoch-Masilla and Westwood. That's 3 gone. Here's Roby again. Wrestled to the ground by Hill. 4 gone. Warrington can survive this. They'll think they're on their way. Barber. The referee says this is the last one coming up. Don't think Justin Holbrook agreed with that call. Here is Richardson. They're going to have to run it. They're going to have to run it. They are with Peyrou. They are wide with Morgan. Oh, and Warrington have got it back with Goodwin. Warrington have got it back with Bryson Goodwin. They have to hang on for 1 minute and 10 seconds, and they're at the theatre of dreams.
So surely they just play out this set now. Some of the Chris Hill, King really struggling.
No mistakes.
No.
Keep hold of it.
Scoot from dummy half. You don't have to pass the ball. You don't have to play outside of anybody.
Darryl Clark knows that. That was cool as a cucumber from Clark. They're inside the final minute. They can see Old Trafford. They've got 1 foot on Sir Matt Busby Way.
And you just play out this set, and then surely it'll be kicked off the field. Get to the sideline. Get where you can get a decent kick in. Don't force the play.
Don't force an offload.
Warrington were beaten by 20-point margin 2 weeks ago against St Helens. Stephen Price has done it again. He has turned it round in the space of a fortnight, just as he did against Wigan in the Challenge Cup after the Magic Weekend defeat.
Well, considering that this team were in the qualifying 8 last year, what a turnaround in form for Steve Price. He's come in, he stripped the game back from Eddie. They don't play that like 50-50 play. The forwards do a decent job. Ben Barber, and let's credit Saints as well. We have waxed lyrical on Sky Sports how good this Saints team have been, how good that player has been all year.
And he's a contender for Man of Steel on Monday night, but they've got 22 seconds to rescue their season. And here they come with that man Barber, now with Percival. Oh, and that's a knock-on. Oh, and that's an offside. That's an offside decision. So no matter how many seconds tick by now, they have to play out this after the penalty.
Well, Percival
Warrington
just trying
supporters are celebrating because there's the siren, but they have to play out after this penalty. And Richardson finds touch. They're 40 metres away, and this is the last throw of the dice. Wilkin, Lomax, Barber, Percival still. The ball finds its way out of touch, and Warrington are there. Warrington are through to the grand final 2018, and such joy on the terraces, matched by joy on the field, and matched by joy of the coach and a former chairman. Warrington are there. Justin Holbrook's league leaders are denied. Heartbreak for Johnny Lomax, delight for the Warrington Wolves, and Super Benny Westwood is on his way to Old Trafford, and Ben Barber is on his way home.
What a game, what a game. Ben Barber and his teammates have threw absolutely everything into this game. The Saints team have been quality all year. Warrington, like I said, they've had good periods, they've had bad periods in the season, but what they've done in this semi-final, they've stuck together, they believed in each other, they played for the full 80 minutes, and they had to play for the full 80 minutes. They were coming here against the team that had beat them 3 times. They were absolutely a star-studded Saints side, and they've done the job. Then the forwards laid the platform. You've got the likes of Kevin Brown and Tyrone Roberts playing on the back of that, and Steve Price, well, look at the smile on his face, along with Carl Fitz, the chief exec.
Well, 4th grand final in 7 years for the Warrington Wolves, 4th successive semi-final defeat for St Helens. Bill Arthur now is downstairs with the man who scored 2 tries, including the match winner. He's not the man of the match, but he's certainly got the freedom of Warrington tonight, Bill.
Oh, certainly will have the freedom of Warrington tonight, Tom, and more possibly. What a night.
Unbelievable. Like, just look around you, look at the atmosphere, both sets of fans. Unbelievable. This is what you play for. We started November the 1st, 2017, for preparation for this season, and obviously you have to grind it out throughout the year, and these occasions like this is what you play rugby league for. 2 precious tries. You'll relive those. Yeah, it's nice scoring the tries. It's the middles. It was the battle of the middles today, and you know they were unbelievable. Our middles, the effort, everyone was out on their feet. Discipline at times was questionable, but you know the gods were with us, and we managed to get the win. What about Old Trafford? I mean, you've got to soak all this up and now think about Old Trafford. Oh yeah, it's the theatre of the dreams, isn't it? We were there in 2016, and we lost the final. Obviously, what happened at Wembley was very disappointing for this group of players, and that'll live long in the memory. And we've got an opportunity now to right that wrongs and go to Old Trafford and create history. We say this is the class of 2018. No other Warrington Wolves team has managed to go to Old Trafford and win, so we could be the first. Great history for the club, great history for ourselves, and it'll live long in the memory. Tom, well done tonight. Thank you very much, mate. Well done. Great day. Luke Thompson had a storming game. Hey, Luke. You've had a great week. The club awards. You had a storming game personally, but you'd swap it all for getting over the winning line tonight.
Yeah, you know, that really hurts. You know, we played really well this week, and you know, we've had such a great season, and you know, it's a real shame we just fell a bit short there. You know, like I say, it hurts, but you know, what can we do?
How do you think it got away from you in the second half? I mean, it was always going to be tight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was close all the way through. You know, it was, you know, I think it was 1 point up. They was 1 point up, then we was 1 point up. You know, it was to the death, and you know, fair play to them. You know, they got the better of us over there in the corner. So, but like I say, it was a great game, and you know, it's just a shame because we've had such a great year. But you know, we take a lot from this year, a lot of positives. You know, we've been very consistent throughout, and you know, we'll look to build again and go again next year.
What about personally? Great year.
Yeah, you know, it's been a good year for myself personally, but you know, it's I give it all, you know, to get that next step further today, but you know, it wasn't to be.
Congratulations, Lou. There you go, Silver Salver, a cheque for a charity of your choice.
Go Saints Foundation, please, mate.
Well done.
Thanks.
Steve Price lived every moment of that fantastic game, and that was semi-final rugby league.
Yeah, that's what semi-finals are about. That was a cracking game. They've been the best team, most consistent team for a long time and all year, and fantastic coach Justin, and Yeah, we had all 17 contributed tonight, and yeah, it was a fantastic display. Really proud of them.
When the second half got off to a pretty catastrophic start, it didn't look too good, but the way you recovered from that was probably one of the most impressive aspects.
Yeah, certainly. We just stayed in the fight, and we weren't going to break tonight first. And you know, we'd come up with some, you know, really good try, big play by Tom, and you know, with the last couple of minutes to go, and yeah, super effort. You know, we're just super proud of the guys.
Now, we're normally used to seeing coaches sitting stony-faced at the back of a stand. You choose to sit right down in the thick of it because you want to be part of it.
Yeah, that's right. It's, you know, it's fantastic atmosphere over here, and you know, I just wanted to just get with the boys tonight. And
does it help? Does it help being that close?
I feel it does, and some of that try line defence was phenomenal. Just how we just kept turning away. You know, they're number one attacking team all season, and the way we just kept turning them away was great resolve by the players.
And now you can think about Old Trafford. What a prospect that is.
Yeah, it's going to be. We'll enjoy it tonight. Enjoy it for what it is, and we'll get back to work, and we'll be ready to go next week.
Thanks, Steve. See you at Old Trafford.
Thank you. Cheers.
Steve Price in the afternoon, I'm sure, would have been dreaming of this result. The Warrington Wolves, fourth time of asking this season, have beaten the season's outstanding team, St Helens, 18-13 in the end. Wow. Well, the Totally Wicked Stadium has witnessed, once again, tremendous action between these two teams. Tom Lynham with a double, Jack Hughes with another try for the Warrington Wolves. Just one try for St Helens. Tries have come easy for them this year, not tonight. Danny Richardson with 2 penalties and 3 successful drop goals. Well, that night belongs to the Warrington Wolves. What are the thoughts of Justin Holbrook after a season in which they dominated near everybody?
Justin, to come that close to Old Trafford and have it taken away from you deservedly by Warrington with a big second half, would you accept that?
Yeah, I'll accept it. Yep, they played better than us, and as hard as that is to admit, that's the truth.
Was it down to the bounce of the ball, their intensity matching yours, that sort of thing?
No, I don't think so. I just think there wasn't much in the game, obviously, with the scoreline, but you know, we made a break in the first half and don't pass it, and then the second half we just make poor decisions in defence, and they scored off them. And as I said, there was never much in the game for 80 minutes, and we made a couple of, you know, poor reads that we haven't done all year, and to their credit, they took advantage of them.
That's the point, isn't it? I mean, you've dominated the competition by maybe not making those sort of mistakes, those sort of judgments, and tonight you had to go and do it.
Yeah, that's right, but credit to Warrington. You know, they made it happen. You know, they were the more dangerous side in attack. We were just looked all over the shop, and mate, they looked threatening and we didn't.
A shame that a season that has promised so much. Okay, the league leader shield is in your pocket, but could have been much more.
It could have been, but that's what happens in sport and in our game. You know, we earned the right to get a best opportunity playing at home tonight, but we didn't play well, and if you don't play well, you're not going to win, and that was us tonight.
If you could look back on the season, though, it's still been a great campaign for all this.
Oh, look, right from the start of the season, we played some great rugby league, and you know, put ourselves in the best chance to finish the season, and weren't good enough when it counted, and we've got to accept that as a group.
Thanks, Justin.
Cheers, Bill.
A record number of wins, record number of points, but when it came to the crunch games, they have come up short. Tom Lynham returns from suspension to score 2 vital tries for the Warrington Wolves as they go back to the grand final for the first time since 2016. We know one of this year's grand finalists, the Warrington Wolves, will be at Old Trafford next Saturday. Hope you can join us for that 5 p.m. on Sky Sports Arena and Sky Sports main event. Who will provide the opposition? Wigan and Castleford in action tomorrow at the DW Stadium. Just a reminder, coming up next on main event, it is the debate live. Make sure you join us tomorrow at the DW Stadium. Castleford Tigers, last year's beaten grand finalists. The farewell at the DW for Sean Wayne, 7:30 p.m. Sky Sports Arena and Sky Sports Mix. And then the £1 million game We'll bring you all the action from Toronto as the London Broncos make the long trip in the hope for promotion to Super League. 6:30 p.m, Sky Sports Arena and Sky Sports main event. The night belongs to Benny Westwood and the Warrington Wolves. They are the first of this year's grand finalists. For St Helens, there's always next year.